Global Golf, located in North Raleigh at 7320 ACC Boulevard. Global Golf, home to the best deals in golf.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. We're close to crowning a champion in hockey. When I'm not calling playoff games around the country, the first thing I do when I'm back in the Triangle is head to Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, like half-price appetizers, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Phelps, first pitch swinging to center. Serrano is under it. He's pumping his fist. He made the catch! On to Omaha! Again! For the second time in the last 4 years, NC State is headed to the Men's College World Series. It's a dog pile in the infield at the home of the Dogs. For the 4th time in school history. Look out, Omaha. Here comes the Wolfpack.
How about that? How about it? Way to go. Elliott Avent and NC State making it a fair fight in Omaha.
I love it.
Yeah.
Even Stevens.
I'm obviously, we've had Elliott Avent on this program, I don't know how many times, 50. He's a great dude, and he's a great baseball coach. And the Wolfpack are headed back to the College World Series. I think it's his 3rd trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's his 3rd trip to the, and all since 2013, I think. But what a year!
I know
for NC State. I want to read this for people, so we get it all. I want to read this for people because I want everybody to understand. This is the year for NC State athletics. By the way, I'm Adam Gold. That's Victoria. We're here for the next 3 hours. Cross country, 3-time national championships, right? Top 25 finish in football. ACC championship in men's basketball and a Final Four. Women's basketball to a Final Four. College World Series trip. And the Cheese Wheel Championship for the 2nd time in 3 years.
Look at them go.
Who has done better than NC State?
They're having a year.
Congratulations to the Wolfpack. And on top of that, the 1983 team is making news by suing the NCAA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing to do now anyway.
Look, the old phrase, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything.
Right.
I wish the people behind the lawsuit peace.
Yes.
I wish them serenity. And if it turns out where they are an aggrieved party here, then I wish them justice. I don't necessarily see them as an aggrieved party here. I can't really close my eyes and think of another Cinderella team that has maximized an ROI on their great season more than them. But if you believe that the NCAA has raked in money based on your accomplishments that you have received nothing for, then by all means, go seek out justice. And I will leave it at that. Let's start. Holy cow. I saw that story yesterday. Like, what's going on?
Another one.
What are we doing?
Another one.
What are we doing?
Also, the year of lawsuits.
It is. Absolutely. It's always the year of lawsuits. All right, so let's get this thing going. We're set for the ACC SEC Challenge in Omaha. Can we get Andrew Sanders on the play-by-play of the final out of NC State's win in Athens?
Smith trying to finish out this game. Phelps, first pitch swinging to center. Serrano is under it. He's pumping his fist. He made the catch! On to Omaha again! For the second time in the last 4 years, NC State is headed to the Men's College World Series. It's a dog pile in the infield at the home of the Dogs.
Nice. I was waiting for that. State hit 4 home runs in the game, one of them by Eli Serrano. They beat Georgia 8-5. Logan Whitaker got the first 13 outs. He gave up 2 runs. Derek Smith pitched 1-run ball over the last 3 innings. Again, 4th trip to the College World Series for NC State. Here is the head coach, Elliott Avent.
They've been so unbelievable the last 10 weeks of the season. Ever since we went to Clemson, they've been as good a team as you can be. They do things the right way. They play hard. They run hard all the time. And they do things the way they're supposed to do it on and off the field. I haven't had a curfew here, and I don't think JT said like twice, and he played for me. He said he had 1 in his 4 years here. But I haven't had a curfew in like 10 years. You recruit men, you trust them, they trust you back, and you try to build something. And if you got the right people, then silly stuff like that doesn't even need to come in place. So just really proud of this team.
Interesting. No curfew. It's fine. Why you bring that up? It's great. I don't care. It's fine. And just to help illustrate the point of, these kids know, they know how to do the right thing. We don't even have to tell them what bedtime is. Exactly. We don't have to tell them to brush their teeth before they go to bed. Right? Make your bed. Yep. Put your dishes in the sink or in the dishwasher, preferably.
Don't forget to floss.
Oh, yeah. Flossing. Never mind. But Elliott gets to take a new group back to Omaha.
I wanted these guys to go so bad. Some of them's last chances, AMAC's last chances, Logan Whitaker's last chance, Noah Soul, Sam Highfield, the list goes on and on and on. And for the guys that could sign, saying it's their last shot. And there's nothing like walking on that field in Omaha, Nebraska for the ceremony, which we missed in 21 walking out there because of COVID. And can't wait to see those guys do that.
They also have some unfinished business from Omaha. But basically, they were shut down. We don't have to get into it. It's a lot of unfortunate circumstances. States lumped in with Kentucky, Florida, and Texas A&M in one group. They are the only ACC school there. Carolina, Virginia, Florida State joined by Kentucky. In the other bracket, Tennessee is the top seed. Kentucky and Texas A&M are numbers 2 and 3. Florida, of course, the outsider there, as I believe the third seed in their region ultimately in the first regional, and ended up going to Clemson and knocking off the Tigers in one of the craziest games you've probably ever watched. All right, to the Stanley Cup Finals last night. Florida Panthers have a 2-0 lead after their 4-1 TKO of the Oilers last night. So, Victoria, you're the expert on this. Because we actually did see an instance of somebody trying to tap out.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Somebody had, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the player who had the Oiler player I think it was Adam Henrique in a headlock. And Henrique was like, "No, please,
this is the wrong sport.
I'm done." Anyway, we had we had knees, We had elbows. We had a cup check last night.
All the basics of an MMA fight.
We had everything. We had an ejection. We had another could have been an ejection.
Yeah.
Probably the better call to not have that as an ejection, but it resulted in an injury that could change the series. We'll find out.
A lot of Paul Maurice faces.
Oh,
Love
my
the faces.
gosh. Here's Paul Maurice, Florida's head coach. First of all, let me explain. Leon Draisaitl launched himself into Alexander Barkov and elbowed him in the jaw. Now, the elbow did not look intentional. Right. It looked like it was just a product of him launching into, which is going to create some discussion, I'm sure, in the NHL offices. Paul Maurice was asked if Barkov could have returned to the game.
If it was not a 3-1 or a 4-1 game, could Sasha Barkov have returned?
There's 9:28 on the clock, I believe, in a 2-1 game.
Right, but then
I'm not holding him.
Okay. All right, so let's fast forward to this because I believe was that Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic and TSN? Because this is definitely Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic and TSN asking Maurice about the hit.
Paul, I do want to ask you about the evolution defensively of this team since you've arrived, but just quickly, because I think you're holding back. How do you feel about the hit on Barkov?
This isn't the Oprah Winfrey Show. My feelings don't matter.
You get a hit, and you get a hit, and you get a penalty. And I love it.
Oh, man. Whether the NHL looks at the Draisaitl hit on Barkov or not, they probably will look at the Warren Foegele knee-to-knee hit on Eetu Luostarinen. Former teammates. Come on, guys.
Right.
You guys were supposed to know each other and like each other.
And he has history of like leg issues with surgeries and injuries and stuff like that, too.
Yeah. Also, Warren Foegele, to me, is not one of those mean, dirty players.
He's not a Sam Bennett.
No. See, the difference between Warren Foegele and Sam Bennett, honestly, is that Sam Bennett is a very smart hockey player. Mm-hmm. He is
dirty.
Well, yeah, he is. Yeah. He has dirty tendencies, right? But he's a very smart hockey player. I would not accuse Warren Foegele of being a very smart hockey player.
No.
And there is the problem for Warren Foegele is that he missed his initial hit. He knew he was not going to connect with the body check, so he thought, well, the leg's the next best thing. Mm-hmm. Like, dude.
Stuck that out. Yeah.
Not good at all. Maurice on what he felt the Panthers have been dealing with in the postseason.
We got 2 years of doing it. It's we play tight games. We've always played tight, hard games. We don't necessarily score easily. That's not a function of not skill or talent. And the story in these playoffs, we've seen some pretty fine goaltending. We never really got to the test in Game 1. That wasn't an issue. But it's experiential.
I'm not really sure what Maurice is talking about there, other than the fact that Florida has had trouble scoring.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't play great in Game 1. Sergei Bobrovsky won the game for them. They were great last night, even though Bobrovsky allowed the first goal, and it's one that he don't want to look at the video of. Mm-hmm. How did I allow that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it almost felt like slow motion, too.
How did that go in? I'll explain how it went in a second, I think. And the Oilers did have a 1-0 lead. It was a 4-on-4 goal. Ekholm, who was coming down 2-on-1 and on 4-on-4, that was actually in the middle of the Warren Foegele major penalty when Oliver Ekman-Larsson took a tripping penalty in the middle of that. So for 2 minutes, it was 4-on-4 hockey. Edmonton scored on their first opportunity in 4-on-4, and I think Bobrovsky really expected Ekholm to pass it across to Connor McDavid. And I think that's why the goal got through.
Yeah.
Because Bobrovsky was kind of ready to go over to deal with McDavid.
Well, they even said Ekholm does not score.
No.
Like, he is not a scorer
He's
on
a
that
good
team.
player, very
He
good
is.
player.
He is.
But that was, to me, that was the reason why that puck got through. But yeah, it was the goal that Bobrovsky did not like. But from that moment, Florida just went, no.
Laid it on.
Nothing. You will get nothing and like it. Evan Rodriguez scores twice in the third period. Florida wins it 4-1. Then you had Fogel's hit on Lusterinen. Draisaitl's launch and elbow to the jaw of Sasha Barkov. Sam Carrick's cup check of, I think it was Kevin Stenlund in the third period as well. If Barkov can't come back in the series, that'll be a huge blow because Barkov has helped shut down
He's huge.
Connor McDavid. Well, to an extent, because McDavid had 6 shots on goal and like 3 high-danger chances in Game 1. Edmonton was the better team in Game 1, just didn't win. Bobrovsky made it so. Do you know how many high-danger chances, how many grade A scoring chances Edmonton had at 5-on-5 last night, Victoria?
Probably like close to none.
0. Very close to none. In fact, 0. Nothing. No scoring chances. They only had, I believe, 6 scoring chances total at 5-on-5. That's not a recipe. They had power play opportunities, didn't score on them. Both penalty kill units have been ridiculous. Florida's PK has been great. Obviously, Edmonton hasn't allowed a goal. No, they did last night. They allowed a power play goal to Evan Rodriguez. Did you hear Evan Rodriguez after the game explaining how they scored a power play goal? He said they stopped treating it like a power play.
There you go.
Maurice,
Get out of your head.
Maurice simply said, pretend it's not a power play. It's 5-on-5. Let's play.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's exactly how we treated it. I mean, there's some brilliance there, I think. Anyway,
it's a lot of mental.
And it was sort of a transition play. It's a pass in front, and Rodriguez kind of in transition just deflected it past Stuart Skinner.
He's been getting hotter and hotter as the series goes.
6 goals in the playoffs now for Evan Rodriguez. But if Barkov can't come back, that's a game changer because he has been dealing mostly with Connor McDavid. And Maurice was not, we're not holding him out. So we'll see. You know, it definitely looked like he was kind of dazed and confused after the hit. We shall see. All right, it's not official yet, obviously, and we talked about this briefly yesterday. Eric Tulsky set to become the Canes' next general manager. For those interested, last night around 9:30, actually exactly at 9:30, there was a live Canes Corner podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yes, which is, of course, available on YouTube. You can go to there now and search Canes Corner podcast, or you could just get the podcast proper in your podcast feed, wherever you get that. So me and friend of the program, Al Hood, Canes Corner staff writer, we discussed Tulsky's ascension to the GM throne, all the stuff I said yesterday. And by the way, if you listen to 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick talked about Tulsky and his credentials as GM. As I said yesterday on the program and during this podcast, Eric Tulsky has merit. The decision to make Tulsky the general manager has merit. He could have easily been named the GM of the Penguins last year. Also, Chicago was interested, and there have been teams around the league that are interested. Also, it is worth pointing out that Tom Dundon did not hire Eric Tulsky. Tulsky was here when Dundon took over ownership of the team, and he retained him because Ron Francis actually hired Eric Tulsky. And there was some talk that Tulsky was going to follow Francis to Seattle. But Dundon is super into analytics and has made it worth Tulsky's while to stay. and he will make it further worth his while when he names him officially the GM whenever they get around to it.
Yeah.
Because it just
No
doesn't.
hurry.
There really isn't any worry. So some of the other things we talked about on the podcast, if you are so interested, the free agent priorities among Carolina's own free agents. And I'm not talking about going out and signing this guy and this guy or this guy from another team. I'm talking about Carolina's own free agents, of which there are 11. And I'm going to exclude the 3 restricted free agents, Jack Drury, Seth Jarvis, Martin Necas. We obviously discussed Necas. We'll just park that for 1 second. For me, of their unrestricted free agents, I think there are only 2 we must sign. They are Jalen Chatfield and Jordan Martinook. Everybody else, the numbers have to really work for Carolina. But in terms of the unrestricted free agents, 5 and 48 must come back. Must. I explained fully why in the podcast. Jake Gensel, I don't think he will be back. I think Carolina will trade his rights to another team so they can negotiate with him exclusively until July 1. And if you could get significant return for Tony D'Angelo a couple of years ago, you should get something of value back for the rights to negotiate with Jake Gensel. I do think that Carolina can get something done there. Now, on 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet in Canada, the sports premier insider, talked about what Carolina needs from a Martin Necas trade.
Carolina has either indicated to teams you have what we want, or you don't have what we want. And what some teams told me is that they're wondering if there's going to be some of those teams that were initially told by Carolina, you don't have what we want. Can they do a 3-way deal?
Yeah. It's important to turn Necas into assets that help you, not just get rid of him because he's unhappy or the team can't get him to play the way they want him to play because he doesn't want to play that way or the position. Regardless, it is a situation that needs to be remedied. It is unfortunate because he has an immense amount of talent. But because he has that, there are definitely interested parties, and there is no doubt that you can turn Necas into something, probably 2 elements that will help you. We talked about those on the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. You can feel free to rate or review if you like. And again, it's on YouTube. We did it last night. Thanks to Al Hood from Canes Country for coming on. All right, let's wrap this part. My gosh, can't speak. Let's wrap up. Yeah, thank you. We'll edit that out. Let's wrap up this portion of the program by reminding you the Lakers still don't have a head coach. Bobby Hurley made the college folk happy by staying at UConn. So, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, now what?
I think James Borrego is certainly at the top of that list. He's interviewed twice for the job. He had sort of that initial get-to-know-you conversation and then a deeper interview in L.A. with Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, their group. He's in Cleveland today, guys. He's certainly high on the Cavs list. They'll have Kenny Atkinson from Golden State in later this week. At least that's the schedule right now. But I think that's a name to continue to keep your eye on, and I think they'll be open-minded about somebody still who could maybe enter this process. But they've interviewed a number of coaches in L.A. sort of concurrently with them chasing Hurley over the last several weeks. But I think Borrego is certainly one to watch. All
right, Borrego, of course, the former Charlotte Hornets head coach. Jovan Buha covers the Lakers for The Athletic. He has thoughts on who the favorite is.
My early read is that things haven't really changed as to where they were before Dan Hurley's surprise candidacy on Thursday, and J.J. Redick remains the most likely front runner, according to league sources, and just checking in with people. So Seems like this was kind of a 5-day process that the Lakers and, a 5-day dalliance that the Lakers and Dan Hurley had. And it was an aggressive pursuit. They made an aggressive offer, but it's back to business as usual.
I mean, aggressive offer. They only offered to make him the 6th highest paid coach in the NBA. I mean, it's aggressive, but to a point, it's aggressive. They certainly didn't blow him away. Austin Rivers, who I played for like 11 teams in the NBA in his career, he has I think a very good candidate. Maybe not for the Lakers, but everywhere around the league should be interested in this guy.
Right now, if you're asking for somebody in terms of flash in the pan, someone who would have that respect and walk in the locker room and be able to, have that immediately from day one, I think Sam Cassell is a viable option. He's a guy who's won as a player. He won multiple rings as a player, and obviously now he's getting ready to win one possibly as a head assistant coach for the Boston Celtics. So when you look around who's available, who could have an impact, who can walk in the locker room and demand respect from day one, there isn't a lot of options out there, but I think Sam Cassell is a guy that hasn't really been looked at seriously enough.
I'm not sure Austin Rivers knows what the phrase flash in the pan means. That was my first takeaway there.
Right.
I apologize because I forgot everything else he said
point, yeah,
after that. But I've heard and read a lot about Sam Cassell. A super smart basketball guy. And was a great player, not only at Florida State, but many stops in the NBA. I mean, absolutely could be a candidate for this job. And one more thing about the actually we're gonna hold this on the Lakers going forward. Let me just close on this because I want to take a break. Aaron Rodgers is a no-show for the mandatory Jets minicamp. What? Shocking.
Right.
Shocking.
Did he not do that last year, too?
I have no idea.
I feel like he did that last year.
I have no idea.
He's a repeat offender.
And I realize this is going to sound like, of course, gold is going to go here. The NFL needs to get over itself. Teams report to training camp in the middle of July. The season doesn't start until the second week in September. There's no reason, none at all, why any team has to be practicing in June.
Yeah.
1 month before we report to training camp.
And it's 1,000 degrees outside.
We can make the argument about it's worse in July.
Yeah.
There's no reason they have to practice in May.
No.
Why do we have OTAs and then 2 weeks later, mandatory minicamp? Let them have an off season. Guys stay in shape all year long now. Let them have an off season. But by the way, it's super funny that Aaron Rodgers is AWOL. It's super funny.
He's in a dark cave somewhere.
Oh my gosh, the Jets they can't not jet.
Oh yeah.
So good
Jetting
for them.
it up.
Good for them. All right, when we come back, Aaron Fitt, great clubhouse guy. The summer of the ACC SEC Challenge is a week away. We'll talk to Aaron Fitt from D1Baseball.com next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Golf's third major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the U.S. Open from Pinehurst. Find out if Wyndham Clark can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the championship trophy. Coverage of the U.S. Open on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast.
Okay, let me tell you about one of my absolute favorite hangout spots. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker, and Norse Brewing Company in Wake Forest is a place you need to check out. There's also Norse Brewing Longhouse in Zebulon, which is just as amazing, but both locations offer mouth-watering Southern food, but with a Scandinavian twist. My personal favorite is the Loaded Beer Cheese Tots with in-house made seltzers. Yes, they make all of their adult beverages in-house right in front of you. Speaking of the setup, you'll be completely immersed in the Viking vibes with the handmade axe door handles, the wooden interior, the calm lighting. And with the weather getting warmer, there's plenty of space to enjoy this one-of-a-kind menu outside. Whether it's brunch, lunch, dinner, or a nightcap, Norse Brewing Company is a place you'll want to visit, and you can bring your pups too. Bring everyone out for trivia night, one of their markets, or you could even plan your next big event there. You can find out all the information about this amazing spot and upcoming events at norsebrewingco.com.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month, rebates up to $8,000, plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats, June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3, only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at AutoZone. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. Subject
Hey,
to
it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I got news for you. If I see a hammerhead shark swimming near me in open water,
nope,
we're gone.
Bye.
We're done. I'll be on the dock.
I'm done. I've seen Jaws. You can't fool me.
Yeah, I'll be on the dock.
Yeah.
I'll be, or in the boat or something. I will not be.
Yeah.
I will not be in open water.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Tomorrow, this show will originate from somewhere near the driving range at Pinehurst number 2, the final practice day before the United States Open. We will talk Open at the top of the hour with Jason Sobel of Action Network. Also, my friend Brad Fritsch will drop by. We'll talk about players he likes for the Open. But I want to start the U.S. Open preview right now. Aaron Fitt, great clubhouse guy, D1Baseball.com, who is walking around down at Pinehurst, making sure that everything looks good for the tournament to begin on Thursday. How they rolling today, Aaron?
Oh, they're quick, Adam. Let me tell you, those false fronts are not for the faint of heart. This is going to be a blast. This place is magical, and I found myself a nice shady spot here by 5T, and I figured I'd take a few minutes to talk to you, my friend.
Oh, the 5th tee. Oh, are you all the way back in the trees?
Yeah,
On the 15th?
Exactly. A far part of the property and peaceful back here.
It's very peaceful, and that hole is going to be an absolute menace this week. By the way, I provide this to the masses. If you want to be able to watch 4 different holes at the same time, there is a grandstand behind the third green that should give you a look at approach shots and the putting on 3, tee shots on 4, approach shots and putting on 5, and the tee shots on the par 3 6th. I provide that free of charge. Aaron Fitt, D1Baseball.com. ACC SEC Challenge, huh?
Yeah, how about that? First time in the history of this 8-team format. We've had only 2 conferences represented, and it's 4-4, which I think is kind of fun. It's of course we're hearing from people on Twitter and other parts of the country who are just totally demoralized about the whole thing, and there's a lot of resentment out there toward especially the SEC, but to a lesser degree as well the ACC from people in different parts of the country, and a lot of them are going to check out. But you know what? In college baseball, there are a lot more people who really care about the ACC and the SEC, and this is kind of the way the balance of power has shifted, and it's really reflected in this field.
Maybe I don't delve into the animosity about this, but what would the resentment be based on? I guess the ACC and the SEC over the course of the year, they had the most good teams, right? So they hosted a bunch of regionals, no?
Correct, but I think that's kind of the crux of it. Is a lot of people think that they got too many hosts. That the system that we use, the RPI, is too heavily skewed in their favor.
Okay.
And they get more hosts, which makes it easier to get to Omaha, and they get more bubble teams in, like Florida, that a lot of people don't think deserve to be in the field. I don't think they deserve to be in the field either, for that matter.
Okay.
I mean, hey, that doesn't mean that they aren't one of the best 64 teams. Of course they are. They were preseason number 2. They're ultra talented. And if anything, I think what Florida has done in the postseason, getting to Omaha, it only underscores how dramatically they underachieved in the regular season when they finished 28 and 27. And, it's not like all those games were against SEC competition. They played 55 games and only 30 of them were against the SEC. They didn't do great in the other ones either. And yet they were, they rewarded because they played a tough schedule, even though they didn't play well against a tough schedule. And, once you're in, it's a whole new ballgame. And obviously they're dangerous. They played for a national title last year. They're very, very good, and they're playing well right now.
Aaron Fitt, D1Baseball.com, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Let's just hit the most recent addition to the College World Series, and that's NC State. How do you sum up where they were, say, 2 months ago and where they are headed now?
Boy, I'm not going to say they're a different club. But I think that the way that the bullpen has coalesced, more than anything, that stands out, just the way those young arms have matured. Jacob Duden becoming a huge, huge, huge weapon in any kind of moment of truth situation, and you can extend him as a true freshman, a guy that's just gotten more and more confidence, and Derek Smith becoming a trustworthy guy as a sophomore, at the back end. I mean, those two things in particular just have really changed the complexion of this club, and getting healthier, getting Logan Whitaker back healthy. I think not a lot of teams have 3 starters that they feel like they can trust and get some length out of, and now NC State kind of does, and then maybe not all of them. On a given weekend, we saw Fritton have a poor outing the other day, but they've got the bullpen to back it up, and they're just really, really well balanced, complete club. It's not the most star-laden club they've had, the most talented club they've had. It's you got your veteran 50-year guys at the corners, Pennington and Makarevich, who are really your best players. They're not like elite prospects or anything. There's no Pat Baileys or Will Wilsons or first-round picks running around out there, but it's just a really just well-coached team that believes in each other. And I like the fact that they can hit some home runs, but I don't think they're overly reliant upon the home run, which is a strength in Omaha even now with these bats. You still want to be able to manufacture offense, and I think they can. We saw some of that this weekend. So I like the overall balance of that club, and I love the confidence.
Aaron Fitt, D1Baseball.com, is joining us. He's at Pinehurst by the 5th tee. If anybody is walking around listening to this, not that they are, wave to him, try to distract him. Real quick about the Wolfpack, is there any sense to some unfinished business from a few years ago for some of the guys hanging around?
For sure. I mean, Highfill, of course, was the most notable guy. Whitaker was on that team, but did not participate, but he was around. A couple of older guys that have been through this. I'm sure there's got to be some unfinished business, and I would say, and surely among the coaching staff as well. I mean, you heard Elliott's comments last night on TV after the game. He's still kind of taking shots at the NCAA, and he said, I don't believe in revenge and retribution, but the fact that he used those two words,
yes, he does,
gives you a little bit of insight into his psyche on this issue. That was a devastating thing that happened, in 2021, and even people, if you don't like NC State, you still got to feel bad for those guys. That you're playing better than any team in the country. You're in the College World Series, and you're eliminated, and it's not because of what happened on the field. And, it's just, it stunk. And surely there are a lot of hurt feelings still from that toward the NCAA and the way that NC State believes it was improperly handled. They have to make sure they don't get too wrapped up in that. And I'm sure they'll handle it, but it feels like that's a potential for a distraction. Sometimes playing with that extra chip on your shoulder can backfire. So just something to keep in mind.
All right, let's get to the other side real quick. I don't want to make this entirely about NC State, but look, they've had an incredible year as an athletic department. The Tar Heels are where we knew they belonged based on what we saw during the regular season. Yeah. It wasn't easy the way they had to be. They swept the series, but it wasn't easy the way they did it. Those were two very contentious games. What are your thoughts on the Tar Heels and how they arrive in Omaha?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, none of their postseason games really came easily for them. I mean, the regional as well. I mean, they were down and out against Long Island and found a way to win in the ninth. And so sometimes you wonder, is that sustainable when these teams they're kind of fueled by these magical, frantic comebacks,
right,
and these late inning tension, but sometimes you can just keep it rolling. Once you believe you can win any game, that makes it easier to win any game.
Right.
I think there's something to that, and it helps when you've got maybe the best bullpen in the country. I mean, which I think they very well might, and that gives you a real advantage in those pressure situations and late games and when it's close. I mean, we saw it against West Virginia in the clincher. You got Dalton Pence out there getting those last 7 outs or whatever it was.
Right.
And hey, even with the bases loaded in the ninth inning, they just believe in him, and he got it done. And there's a reason they believe in him. It's because he gets it done over and over and over. And so I just think that, again, we talk about complete and balanced clubs. I mean, they check every box, really. I mean, it's not maybe dominant starting pitching, but it's very good, reliable starting pitching with an elite bullpen, with a balanced lineup that's left, right, left, all the way through, that has speed and power, and quality of bats at the bottom. They can turn it over. And I just think this too, Adam, when you look at the way their team is built with Honeycutt and D'Onofrio in the outfield, that's elite range. And that's a huge outfield to defend out there. I think that's such an enormous advantage to have maybe the two best defenders in the country at their positions in center field and right.
Or do you think we're going to have the umpiring crew that was in Clemson in Omaha?
I don't know. It's a great question. I know Billy Van Raphorst, who was the crew chief there, he's done plenty of College World Series, so it wouldn't be a shocker at all to see him there. But that was kind of a fiasco down there in Clemson.
Kind of.
They really let that game get out of hand.
Kind of a fiasco. They didn't eject the hitter who spiked the bat, but they ejected two. The manager and the coach, the head coach and the former head coach. I don't know. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, why are you ejecting them if ultimately you didn't? Anyway. All right. Give me favorites on either side of the bracket. Obviously, one side is, each side is heavily loaded. You know what? You would almost like to see either 2-2 or just flip State and Tennessee. And have an ACC bracket and an SEC bracket. Who are the favorites right now?
I mean, clearly Tennessee has had the best year and overall feels like the best team. I mean, across the board, if you look at their statistical rankings, they're way up there and just about everything. The only thing you wonder about with Tennessee is how does their style of play translate to a pitcher's park? I mean, and you can still hit home runs now that the balls and the bats are juiced. But it's not like 2013 when everything hit the outfield died in Omaha. But it's still a pitcher's park, and they play in a little bandbox in Knoxville. They lead the country in home runs. Set a SEC record, I believe, for home runs this year. They rely heavily on that, and so that's something to keep an eye on. Sometimes that doesn't translate well to this park, but other times it's fine. Florida and LSU were home run teams last year, and they played for the title, so maybe they'll be just fine. But they're I think, the team to beat. I kind of like. I mean, if Carolina can keep this magic going, I like the way that their club is built better in Omaha.
Right.
I think their bullpen gives them a huge advantage. I think NC State's bullpen, for that matter, is a major reason to like their chances over there. Kentucky, I love the roster construction, but they're a little shaky in the bullpen. I do think their athleticism, their defense, their ability to manufacture offense, all those things are going to play well there. But their bullpen scares me just a little bit. A&M would have been the team I would tell you was the favorite on that side, and they lose their All-American Braden Montgomery to an injury. So you got to wonder, how that affects them. That makes me just a little bit gun-shy on them. So I think that side of the bracket is wide open.
Wouldn't it be interesting if it was an NC State UNC College World Series final? It absolutely could happen. All right, Aaron Fitt, D1Baseball.com, at Aaron Fitt on Twitter. Great clubhouse guy, good friend. I appreciate your time, sir. Enjoy the practice round. I'll bug you in Omaha. It's my time to talk college baseball.
I love that, Adam. Look forward to it.
All right, man. Take care. Aaron Fitt here on the Adam Gold Show. That was very nice of him. He's out there roaming at Pinehurst. My son's out there, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I don't, I'm sure they're not going to cross paths. My son is stalking players at the driving range.
Anyone in particular?
He sent me a picture of he and Wyndham Clark.
Oh, okay.
He's already got the defending champ figured out. Hey, let me take a picture with this guy.
He's really tall, isn't he? Wyndham Clark?
Wyndham Clark is tall.
Yes, so he stands out.
I mean, he's not like 7 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
I think he's a little over 6
I
foot.
feel like everyone's taller than me.
Jack wishes that he were tall. Jack has a problem because his father's not tall. One-timers. We'll get to that. And coming up at the top of the hour, we will tell you who are the players to watch out for at the Open. One-timers are next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we want you to swing for the fences this Major League Baseball season with FanDuel, because with Dinger Tuesdays, you can turn dingers into dollars all season long. Bet on your favorite player to rip a moonshot. FanDuel will give you $5 in bonus bets for every homer during that game. That's right, home runs just got even better. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS to get in on all the Dinger Tuesday action. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst premieres Tuesday, June 11th on PBS NC.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting, because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university. making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics at soundedouttogether.org. Brought to you by Pivotal Ventures.
This is Adam Gold.
I got news for you. If I see a hammerhead shark swimming near me in open water,
nope,
we're gone.
Bye.
We're done. I'll be on the dock.
I'm done. I've seen Jaws. Can't fool me.
Yeah, I'll be on the dock.
Yeah.
I'll be, or in the boat or something. I will not be.
Yeah.
I will not be in open water.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Jason Sobel, Action Network, covers golf. Top of the hour will tell you who to watch out for if you are interested in making it even more interesting for you when you watch the Open. We'll get to that top of the hour with him. Then we'll talk to Brad Fritsch about players he likes in terms of what their games, how their games suit up. Who knows? We're just going to talk about the Open. First, it's time for one-timers.
Okay, so I know there's been a lot of Dan Hurley talk since he finally made his decision yesterday. So, in your opinion, who do you think might be the next, either it could be your personal opinion of who you think would be the best to be the LA Lakers head coach, or who you think they'll go with?
I think they're going to ultimately settle on J.J. Redick.
Yeah.
But I've thought that for whatever reason. I've thought that from the beginning. Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that LeBron and J.J. are
tight.
I mean, they I don't know where that relationship came out of. I really don't. Was it born in some ways out of Mike Krzyzewski's USA basketball connection? Is that how they connected? They've never been teammates. So that doesn't mean you can't develop a friendship and a respect for one another. But this Mind the Game podcast that they do is fascinating, and it's deep dive basketball stuff. It's not personality driven. It is deep dive basketball stuff. So I think there's maybe there's the connection.
Okay. Well, moving on to football. I know we've slightly talked about this earlier, but why is it that you think the NFL just wants these guys training now all year long?
No, it's not now. This is the way it's always been done. And it baffles me because there's no games.
No.
We're not practicing for. It's like, you know what? It's like it would be like if an NHL team just said, you know what? We need all of our players to come back at the beginning of July. Just because.
Yeah,
just because. Like, why are we doing this?
We miss them.
It just makes no sense. But this is what the NFL does, man.
Yeah.
Part of it is because they can drive interest. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a reason to watch NFL Network when they're not just showing this was a great game from 1972.
Yeah, tension. Get your attention. Well, with that, more specifically, the Carolina Panthers, is there something, if you were a fan, I would not recommend because it's tough. If you were a fan to watch their mini camp, is there anything that you would want to see coming out of that, or do you think it's maybe too early to make assessments?
I just don't want to see any injuries.
Damn.
That's honestly, in minicamp, we are literally 3 months away from the start of the season. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Right? The only thing I care to see are no injuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Please and
I don't care what else happens.
Yeah.
I don't care if Bryce Young does not complete a pass for however long minicamp is. I just don't want to see injuries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this yesterday. Now that I see it on the screen, Mike Tomlin 3-year deal with the Steelers. I don't know why I didn't mention it yesterday, but I didn't. Good for him. Good for the Steelers.
Wanted him to come to Carolina,
yes.
but moving on. So the hockey game, looking at the Oilers and the Panthers from last night. Are the Oilers just getting in their head with these? I mean, both of them are very talented, but it almost looked like they had a little bit of a change in their strategy yesterday. So do you feel like they're getting in their head?
No, I think Florida's just the better team. Like, sometimes the easiest explanation is the right one. Florida's better. Edmonton has been way too reliant on special teams and, honestly, 3 players. And those 3 players right now are getting all the attention. The injury to Alexander Barkov could be a game changer, and Edmonton could easily win games 3 and 4 at home. But Florida's just the better team.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem for the Oilers.
Okay, well, that leads into the next one. So if Barkov is actually out for the next game and beyond, potentially, who knows? Hopefully not, because it's fun with him. Who do you see being the person that has to step up and go against McDavid?
That'll be Anton Lundell, who will probably get that assignment. Good luck, because you're not Alexander Barkov. He just won the Selke, right? He's the top defensive forward in the sport. He's got the size and the speed to play against McDavid. Bless Anton Lundell's heart. That's it. That's all I got. Good luck.
Good luck with
that one. Good luck, dude.
Yeah. Well, and last but not least with our time. So, what chances do you give any of our ACC schools that are doing it out with the baseball, not basketball, sticking around?
Very good. I mean, we got. If you're looking at it, the best team is Tennessee. They're the lone SEC team on one side. And the SEC has the top 2 seeds on the other side with Kentucky and Texas A&M. But I wouldn't bet against the Wolfpack. And the Tar Heels are playing great. And Florida State mashes. So does Virginia. Anybody's ball game.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Everyone and everything is trying to become more streamlined, more efficient. Why not you? Why haven't you done this? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and your chance to streamline your day-to-day. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of everything involved. The lenses, the cleaning, the trips to the store, the replacement lenses, the glasses that you probably can't find, and the cost that comes with them. So how about we hit up Travers LASIK? Let Dr. Lori Travers work her magic on you, 5 minutes per eye. You could go back to work the very next day if that's a selling point. Plus, they're offering $1,000 off. 0% financing for qualified customers is available. And if you're not sure if you can afford it, just go to TraversLASIK.com. Check out their affordability calculator. Hey, the consultation is free. 919-510-6830. 919-510-6830. Travers LASIK.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Alice Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When people come over to the showroom, they see all of these great doors. I'm not saying that this is what you guys specialize in. You specialize in everything, but let's talk some doors.
The doors are a great way to beautify your home. And when you come into the showroom, one of the first things I ask you to do is to open and close the door. It's a big difference. So with the doors, you pick out the hardware, you pick out the colors, you pick out the style. They come in fiberglass, they come in steel. We got multiple glass options. It's a great way to improve your home. It's easy to do. It's affordable. And these doors, a lot of times you go in and out the door 10, 20 times a day. You might open the windows 10 times a year.
Well, that is true. By the way, I'm not sure I've ever walked through my front door.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, we use the back door.
The back door is side door. We do those also.
All right. That's Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. 800-672-4348 on Hamlin Road in Durham. AluminumCompany.com. Check them out if you need a door.
Guess what a burger's favorite day is?
What?
Friday.
Dad, that's not funny.
This Father's Day, celebrate your worst dad jokes with Carolina Ale House. On Sunday, June 16th, dads can get a free varsity burger at any Carolina Ale House in the Triangle. It's the most popular burger on the menu, and Dad deserves it. Butter his buns with a free varsity burger, and maybe his favorite beer, too. Dine in only, no purchase necessary at Carolina Ale House.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
She's ahead on assists of not only Taurasi, but Sabrina and Kelsey Plum and Jewel Lloyd, all of whom are going to be on the team. So the idea of merit and that this is some kind of a gift or a PR maneuver, I could make a strong case in a very subjective situation, of course, picking a team, right? That she absolutely deserves it on merit. And again, who wouldn't want a three-point shooter of her caliber? That's a gift for any international team. So I think the narrative has played into the ease with which USA basketball was able to dismiss her.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. The Open is this week. Very excited. I will be there tomorrow, somewhere around the driving range, making life miserable for the pros, getting ready to play at Pinehurst #2. It is the 4th U.S. Open in 25 years at Pinehurst. 99, Payne Stewart. 2005, Michael Campbell. 2014, Martin. I just made him a hockey player. Martin Keimer. And who knows, in 2024, Jason Sobel, brand ambassador, MGM, just like Victoria is, and joins us. Also, Sirius XM, Man About Town, my friend. How is it possible that Scotty Scheffler is plus money at this Open? How come it's not Scotty versus the field at this point?
It can't be Scotty versus the field. First of all, Adam, before we get to Scotty, we got to get to us because you're having me on over the phone. I'm walking down the 9th hole at Pinehurst #2 right now, doing my show from the range in just a little bit, about an hour from now. And you're going to be over at the range tomorrow. Why are we not doing this tomorrow? We could have figured that out. In any case, I'm here now. Scotty Scheffler, 3-1 to win this week. Look, I don't know. It's kind of taking a little bit of the fun out of golf betting, quite honestly. And I'm the biggest proponent of golf betting there is.
Right.
But you look at it and you go, I don't really want to bet Scotty at that number, but I don't really want to bet anyone else because Scotty's going to win.
That's right.
So it's a conundrum. You're like, I don't know what to do.
But it's free money. But the way I look at it, because the number has come down. Yesterday it was at plus 320. That's what I saw. Today I see plus 280. So obviously people are going, wait a second, I can get Scotty at plus anything. Might as well, because the way he is playing, and I was talking with Curtis Strange about this yesterday. Scotty hits his ball flag high more than any other player on tour. And to me, that's the number one. That to me is the number one element here. You must be flag high. And if you are, you're going to have birdie looks. You don't even have to putt great. I think Scotty, to me, is, only the Moore County Police, I'll use the joke again, only the Moore County Police can step in the way.
I will put it this way, Adam. At the beginning of the year, I took all the tournaments, took all the players, tried to slot each player for a tournament that I thought they would play well. I had Scotty Scheffler. This is before the 5 wins, before he's extended his lead as number one in the world, before all the great plays he's had this year. And I had Scotty Scheffler for the U.S. Open here at Pinehurst. I felt like this was a perfect fit for him. And now he comes in red hot, wins every single time he tees it up. I'm not moving away from that. So I still like Scotty this week. I just don't see how he's not in the mix, not near the top of the leaderboard, if not winning by 6 this week. He could just make a mockery of this thing.
Yeah, he could do what Martin Keimer did 10 years ago. Jason Sobel, brand ambassador, MGM Sirius XM at Jason Sobel Golf. Now on Twitter, we have a new Twitter handle. That's wonderful. All right, let me ask you about players not named Scotty Scheffler. I kind of get the feeling that the guy who was the biggest challenger last week is the most likely player not named Scotty Scheffler to win.
I really like it. I see some parallels. Sometimes we do all our research, Adam, and we're studying up all the stats. We're looking at everything, and we have to dive deep into all the numbers to figure out who we like. Other times, it's right in front of us and bangs us over the head with it. Just a few months ago, at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Scotty and Wyndham Clark finished 1-2. The very next week at the Players' Championship, they finished 1-2 again. Would not be surprised to see a very similar scenario this week with Scotty and Colin Morikawa. He's playing some great golf. My colleague Will Haskett interviewed him after the round on Sunday at Muirfield Village, said, I've never seen anyone as upbeat and optimistic after losing as Colin Morikawa was. So he's very pleased with the way his game is trending right now.
And here's another guy that in terms of, not necessarily tee to green, but approach shots is one of the best on tour. Xander Schauffele is also up in all of these statistical measures. Here's another guy who obviously won the PGA and has been playing great. Didn't play great on the weekend at Memorial, but there's another guy. And here's my question. Why do they hate Rory McIlroy so much to put him with Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele? Are they just trying to rub it in?
Same group that we saw at Augusta National a couple of months ago for the first 2 days, and they're going to run it back. Look, they got 1, 2, 3 in the world. That's been done in the past, so I like it. It's obviously a featured group this week. As far as Xander, I mentioned that Scotty, look, this is a great course for him. I had him targeted here even before he started winning. Xander Schauffele, if you look at it, I know he won the PGA Championship, but you go back, the U.S. Open has been his best major championship. I believe 7 or 8 career starts, nothing worse than 14th place. So he's been right there every single time he's played one of these. I'm a big believer in once you play well at USGA championships, you tend to play well at them year after year for the most part. And so I think he's absolutely going to be a factor this week as well. I know I'm talking about all these guys near the top that I like. I have to give you somebody that I don't like, and I'll pick out Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
I think that there's a little something there that's not quite right now. He's not playing poor enough that we go, what's wrong with Rory? But he's not quite playing as well as he was at the Zurich and at Quail Hollow before the PGA Championship, where he won both of those events.
It's hard to put your finger on it. Like, the way he played at Quail Hollow, I thought was going to be a jumping off point. As it turns out, it looks like a peak. and that's obviously not good. He just can't control his irons in terms of his distance. He's got the lefts suddenly. It is not a good place to be just a little bit off because as good a chipper and not a putter, but as good a chipper and a short game as he's got, it's going to put a lot of pressure on that if he misses a ton of greens. In your piece that I was reading yesterday, your top 10 best bets, there are a couple of names that I really like, including Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, I'm starting to like Tommy Fleetwood more and more as I'm walking this golf course. It is going to be a ball striker's golf course. Look, the fairways are wider than pretty much any U.S. Open that we've seen recently other than Erin Hills. So you're not going to miss too many fairways. You need to keep your ball somewhere just in the middle of the green. Like my advice, I mean, if one of these players walked up to me and asked for my advice, which they never would, but my advice would be just hit it in the middle of the greens because you start trying to get a little too aggressive. In fact, Victor Hovland said this earlier today. He said, you've got to be aggressive off the tee but conservative into the greens. And so that's what's going to win you this golf tournament. That's what's going to get you on this leaderboard, just being conservative and grinding out pars. If a birdie comes, you take it, but if you try to bite off more than you can chew and try to throw in some flag sticks that are tucked this week, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Tiger Woods plus 225 to make the cut? Really?
I kind of like it. I kind of like that. Look, there's never been or never going to be a better scenario for Tiger at this stage in his career than what he's looking at this week. You think about it, first of all, this is not Augusta National. It's not even Valhalla. It's not an easy walk, but it's a fairly flat golf course. I mean, it's not terrible as far as the wear and tear on his body. It's going to be hot out, 85, 90 degrees every single day. And look, for as much as Tiger in his prime could go as low as anybody and would win golf tournaments shooting 18, 20 under par, now being able to grind out pars, using his ball striking, using his creativity around the greens, and just making pars, I feel like this is a great scenario for Tiger right now that if he's ever going to make a cut, if he's ever going to get himself at least somewhat in the mix, look, I'm not going to say he's going to win or anything like that or even contend, but he's going to be around for 4 days. This feels like a great scenario for him to do it. Also, if you think about it, this golf course, I was just out there a couple of weeks ago for Media Day. The greens, the part of the greens that they can use, because so much of the greens are deceptive because there are fall-offs everywhere, they're relatively small putting surfaces, and while they're not necessarily really flat, there's not a lot of severity to them once you get into the usable parts. So there shouldn't be a lot of 3 or 4 putts out there unless you're really bad. I wouldn't think so, but I do see, I mean, I was walking around. I see some slopiness to these greens, to use a term that might not really exist. But I think these are not quite as flat as, I don't know, maybe you're just a better putter than I am. But I don't think these are quite as easy as you're making them out to be. I see some
piece of cake
out here. These things are going to be running 14, 15 on the stim meter, if not even more by the time we get to this weekend. So you might be a better putter than most of the guys in the field, but I think guys are going to struggle on the greens a little bit.
I am definitely not a better putter than most of the guys in the field. All right, all right. So give me some other guys. What are your thoughts on guys that we have seen play well in majors this year? Bryson DeChambeau has been really good in both majors. He was right there at the PGA. He had some issues, like on the back nine. I think it was Saturday at Augusta that took him out of it. But Bryson has played really well in the 2 majors so far. What kind of chance do you give him?
I don't love Bryson on this golf course. He talks about having to play boring golf, and I just don't know if that's in his DNA. I think he wants to go out there and bomb and gouge and play exciting golf and hit it as far as he can, and I'm not sure that's the strategy. And I don't think he believes that's the strategy that can work this week. So I don't love him, but I will say I was just walking the golf course with my colleague Carl Paulson, and Carl seems to really like him this week. So, look, I can certainly see it happening, but Bryson's more of a fade for me. Some of the other guys that I like this week, I've been talked into Russell Henley. I don't know that he can win. He doesn't win very often, but I think he's going to be up there on the leaderboard. Sungjae Im is starting to play some good golf right now. We mentioned Tommy Fleetwood. So those are some of the names. You go back and look at the U.S. Open leaderboards over the last few years, and even in the top 10, there aren't a whole lot of guys you go, ooh, that's a surprise. How'd that guy finish in the top 10 at a U.S. Open? For the most part, even if it's not the biggest names and the best players, it's mostly guys that we know and guys that play the PGA Tour at a very high level.
I know you like to at least be in the top 20. Akshay Bhatia, who's a local kid to Raleigh, I'm sure has played down at Pinehurst #2 a bunch. I think he is, 450 to be in the top 20. What do you think about Justin Thomas, who for all of his poor play, if you will, or poor finishes this year, checks all the approach shots boxes? He's got good proximity, greens in regulation. All of that stuff is good for him. I'm guessing that he just has putted poorly this year.
Yeah, the putter has not been great for JT. I'm not sure you can go find it on this golf course. Look, I'm not sure there's another player. Maybe JT and his buddy Jordan Spieth are the two at the top of the list that I just kind of throw my hands up and I go, I don't know. Like, if they win this week, either one of those guys, I'd go, yeah, I could see that. That's certainly possible. If they miss the cut this week, I'd say, yeah, see that too. I just don't know exactly what to think about either one of those guys right now. I think they're both very hard to try to figure out where their games are and try to gauge exactly what that progress is that they've made.
All right, real quick. You like Max Homa this week?
I do. I think Max Homa is starting to play better at the major championships. Couple of top tens in his last 3 major starts, and so I think Max can have a really good week here.
All right, here's my dark horse to contend, probably not win, Tom Hoagie.
Ball striking is so good right now. I mean, he reminds me of a Corey Connors that,
it's another pick.
If the putter gets moderately warm, it doesn't need to get hot. It just has to get lukewarm. He can contend because the ball striking's so good, but I wonder about the short game a little bit.
Yeah, that's always going to be an issue on the bold Donald Ross greens. Jason Sobel, I'll come say hi tomorrow.
Please do.
I don't know why I just didn't want to bug you on a Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Bug me on a Tuesday instead.
Exactly.
You never bug me.
I'll talk to you later, man. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
You got it, Jason Sobel. Brand Ambassador, MGM. I had identified him with a past company. He has moved on.
He has moved on.
Now with BetMGM. All right, when we come back, Brad Fritsch is going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on the golf course at Pinehurst #2. And also the player. Why is Scotty Scheffler this much better than everybody else? Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's time for our countdown to the U.S. Open, teed up by Talk It Out NC. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Australian Jeff Ogilvy had both occur in the final round of the 2006 U.S. Open. He buried a tough putt on 18 to set the clubhouse mark at 5 over par. Colin Montgomery couldn't come through, dropping 2 shots on 18, and Phil Mickelson, who only needed a par to secure the win, couldn't see straight and double bogeyed the final hole, handing the trophy to Ogilvy. There's your countdown to the U.S. Open, teed up by Talk It Out NC.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Gordon invented the no closing cost mortgage back in 1987 so you could save thousands of dollars when you buy a house. Don't pay closing costs, and you get the freedom to refinance free of charge when the rates come down. He did that a long time ago. Not that long ago, Gordon Miller rang the bell over at Duke Cancer Center because he beat prostate cancer, and now he wants you to beat cancer yourself or somebody that you love to do that. The best way to beat cancer? Get checked early. Early detection is the key to getting out in front of cancer and beating it in the long run. So, men, women, go see your doctor, make sure you're okay, and if not, you will have gotten it early and you can get on your way to beating it. Miller Lending wants you to be healthy so you can enjoy the American dream of homeownership. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month, rebates up to $8,000, plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats, June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3, only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Here at Total Wine & More, our amazing selection means you'll always
love what you find.
Dad, what are you doing here?
Just getting a sneak peek at my Father's Day gifts.
I was thinking of getting you this Napa Cabernet.
That's a really nice bottle.
And Total Wine has it at the totally lowest price.
Wow. You always were my favorite.
Thanks, Dad.
I was talking to the Cabernet.
Find what you love what you find. Like the perfect gift for Dad at the perfect price. Only at Total Wine & More.
And drink responsibly. B21.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This is Adam Gold.
That answer fails on so many levels. Part of me wants to start the answer again and then stop it after each time. Is that a good idea, Victoria?
No.
That's great. Did you do that on purpose?
I did.
You did? All right. At the end, that was brilliant.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Again, we'll be at the Open tomorrow, somewhere in the driving range. I don't know our location just yet. So if you are going down and you want to don't want to harass a player, but you want to harass somebody who is trying not to harass a player, by all means, stop by and say hello. Brad Fritsch, former PGA Tour swinger, now part of the group Making Great Golf Gloves. Red Rooster, I appreciate your time, sir. Let's talk a little golf. Maybe you can explain why Scottie Scheffler appears to be the perfect golfer at this point.
Let's try to define a PGA Tour swinger first. If my wife listens, she probably won't like it. Yeah.
I got nothing on that.
Yeah. You and I were texting last night, and you said kind of what encapsulates Scottie Scheffler right now. He hits it hole high, the most of any golfer on the PGA Tour. He also happens to drive it in the top 5-ish of tour players, so that also helps. And I think, I'm not going to go too deep into mindset, personality, and faith, but listen, he's a guy who, when he says golf isn't the most important thing to him, you believe it.
Yeah.
And so someone who has that backup in his mind that however I do, things are going to be fine. It's not the most important thing in the world. That player has an advantage over everyone. There are guys who are trying to establish their legacy. There are guys who are trying to win major championships to prove to themselves that they can win major championships. And when they don't, I'm not going to say fall into bad thoughts, but they start to doubt themselves. I don't think that he has ever doubted himself or the purpose of what he's doing. Like, golf, it doesn't define him in his mind, although we probably define Scottie Scheffler as a golfer. So that is such an incredible advantage, to be so content with your life and your identity that it makes playing golf that much easier. So, we all are prisoners of the moment. He is absolutely the best player in the world right now. And I read something the other day that it does get a little bit hyperbolic comparing him to Tiger, but every time he wins an event, he gets that much closer, right? Like this type of domination we haven't seen in a very long time.
Brad Fritsch is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Here's the thing. I will have debates about Tiger versus Jack. I contend that Jack Nicklaus, as great as he was in terms of, if you just look at what Tiger performed in the concentration of his career from 97 to 08, those 12 years. That was the greatest golf that anybody has ever played on this earth. And there's a big gap between the best of Jack and the best of Tiger. But I think the accomplishments of Scheffler over the last year and a half, 2 years, it's the accomplishments of Scheffler that are so comparable to what Tiger has done or what Tiger did. Now, he's not at that level because Tiger was beyond anything we'd ever seen. But the accomplishments, especially versus the field, that's where I think the comparison is fair.
I totally agree with everything you just said. It's just in such a condensed period of time right now that if it happened for another year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, then we'd start talking about the greatest 3 or 4 years of PGA Tour golf of all time. It is pretty crazy. I want to go back to one thing about Tiger versus Jack. Have you ever seen the video where they read back Jack Nicklaus's accomplishments to PGA Tour players, and it was Rory and Adam Scott and guys like that? They're sitting in a chair in a quiet room, and the amazement that 18 majors brought out on their faces was only surpassed by the amazement that he finished second. I believe it was 32 times. That's the part that really, Tiger was never beaten by anybody except I think it was Rich Beam and Y.E. Yang.
Y.E. Yang. First guy ever to catch him, to catch him and pass him was Y.E. Yang.
Those were the guys who kind of stared him down and beat him in majors. But otherwise he'd finish, top 10 or outside of the top 10. Well, Jack was always there. That was kind of the thing that amazed even the best players in the world. I remember seeing it a couple of years ago. It was kind of an interesting side note anyway.
Yeah, by the way, I think both Rich Beam and Y.E. Yang weren't both of those events at Hazeltine in PGAs.
They were.
They were. Maybe that was just a place that Tiger could not win, which is, it's rare. Riviera and Hazeltine, the two places Tiger could not win. Brad Fritsch is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, so we agree that nobody hits it closer. Scotty Scheffler will have to, I'll just keep using the joke because I like it, only the Moore County Police can intervene. Let's get to who is the next best guy that resembles, in your eyes, the way Scotty Scheffler, really, it's a second-shot golf course, I think, because the fairways are so wide. And even if you miss the fairways, unless you're tangled up in the tufts of native grasses, I mean, they're going to get great lies in the natural areas, and I think it's a very playable course, again, unless you get a bad break. But who is the next best guy from in terms of hitting his second shot close to the hole?
I think it's the next guy on the world golf ranking, Xander Schauffele, especially given his breakthrough at Valhalla, winning his first major. That can only send his confidence sky high. That was all that was really missing on his resume, and in order for him to take the next step, that probably had to happen, and he did it. And with Scheffler in the top 10, that is not necessarily a stare down moment, but he did stare down a couple of players, including Bryson DeChambeau. So that was a big deal for Xander. It's a long time coming. He has played so many outstanding major championships and has just happened to gotten beat every single time except for this last one. So I think he's the next player to watch. There are guys coming from LIV that are playing okay. The big guys, Bryson's playing well. Can't argue with that. But I do think Scheffler and Schauffele are the two guys that would, I'm sure they're probably the two betting favorites as well.
They are
1 and 2. It's just such not an odd course. So I'm gonna break your brain right now. Pinehurst is not my favorite place in the world.
Okay.
I find it just an odd test of golf. You can hit really good shots and then find your ball 40 yards away from the pin because it happened to catch, a slope. And according to Wyndham Clark, the greens are almost borderline right, or they are borderline right now, so that makes it even more difficult. However, I do think the player that not only hits it closest to the hole, but the guy who is dialed in on his 6 to 8 foot putts, because it is so difficult to chip and putt and using your fairway metal around the green to get it within kick-in distance. So the player who makes their 6 and 8 footers all week is going to be the player, I think, that's going to win the U.S. Open. Now, those are not the two best, that is not the best aspect of Scheffler and Schauffele's game. Their short-range putting can waffle from time to time. So I think it's a matter of if they drive it fine, and if they don't get unlucky, because you can certainly get unlucky in those tufts of grass that you were talking about.
Yeah.
More than one or two times in a round, and you're kind of hosed because you're not making a ton of birdies at Pinehurst number 2. So interesting course for sure. It's not my favorite in the world. A couple guys have asked me, "Are you going?" I'm not going. I prefer to save my shoes, socks, and shorts because I remember guys coming back from the last one, and they are just. It's a dust bowl, right?
It can be. It can be, especially if you don't. I mean, 2014 was unusual. It was super hot and incredibly dry. If they get any rain at all, they could end up seeing, high single digit under par. I think it's going to be pretty close. If you said 5 under, I think 5 under par could end up winning the U.S. Open.
That's fair. Yeah, I think anywhere between 5 under and even par would be very, very respectable. I haven't seen the forecast, but it's been very dry lately. Again, it is a classic U.S. Open course, a little bit different from what it used to be in terms of the long rough, but they restored it, made it into kind of it's almost like not St. Andrews, but sort of a linksy.
Well, it is
linksy North Carolina course.
And I think what you were talking about is that there is a randomness that you also get at Open Championships, where there are humps and bumps and swales. What I've said is that the person who putts it the best from off the greens might be the guy to watch, because I think there will be a lot of guys who choose to putt from off the greens as opposed to chip because of the fall-offs, and it'll be easier for them, I think, to putt that versus chip it. Brad Fritsch is joining us here. I just want to go back to one thing about Scotty, not as much about him, but about the guy I'm going to compare it to. Scheffler looks more relaxed at all times on the golf course, whether he's struggling or playing well. He just looks very relaxed. My read, and this is maybe because I want him to win so badly, is that Rory McIlroy is the opposite of that. Is that he looks like he is too wrapped up, caught up in trying to win the golf tournament, that he just has a hard time relaxing and letting his talent take over. That happened at Quail Hollow, and we saw what happened. I just don't know when that's going to happen, because the times he's had opportunities to win majors, you could tell he has tightened up on Sunday.
Yeah, and, we were talking about Schauffele getting off the schneid a little bit. I mean, Rory has 4 majors, but it's been a full 10 years, right?
10 years.
So, I would almost think that he felt even more of an urgency to win than Schauffele did, ironically, and he's got 4.
Right.
So it's because of the expectations, right? What he kind of presented to the world in terms of his talent and where everybody thought he was going after that 4th major. And not that he stalled, because he's won a ton of DP World Tour and PGA Tour events, and he's been the best player in the world, and I don't think he's ever left the top 10 for sure, and probably hasn't left the top 5. So it's just ours and his expectations, and the fact that he hasn't won in 10 years. And you're right, the look on his face, it's almost grimacing, wincing a lot. It looks very difficult for him for 5 hours, whereas for Scheffler, it's a nice walk in the park, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of that is 100% true. Final thing for you, Brad Fritch, and I appreciate your time. Nobody has to genuflect. I think Pinehurst as a golf course is a great venue for U.S. Open. It's a fun venue. It's a great, I think it's a great spectator venue, and I think it's aesthetically pleasing. But it is far from traditional U.S. Open layout. Far from it. So for a lot of people, they won't like it, especially if it gets brown in the fairways and just off the greens, like it may if they don't get any rain. I'm just curious. Hank Haney made a comment on Twitter yesterday that he hates the golf has to fix itself because the field at the U.S. Open is so weak. And all I wanted to, and I did say it, I'm like, are you new here? The U.S. Open always has the lesser field of the four majors because there's only so many spots that are guaranteed to the best players in the world. There are, I don't know what, 60 spots are for qualifiers? Maybe more are for qualifiers? To me, it's pretty easy. I think Hank is trying to make a point about LIV that doesn't need to be made.
Yeah, I mean, he's speaking to the audience. You know the audience he's speaking to,
right? Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with the U.S. Open, and it is so many people's favorite major golf championship because of the stories that have emanated from the tournament. It had one back in, what was it, 2000? Was it at 05 when Michael Campbell won?
Campbell,
right? Was in the final.
Yep.
Jason Gore was in the final group. He happened to shoot 84, I think. But, I mean, that was a qualifying, not a miracle, but a guy who qualified in and had a chance to win the golf tournament. Those stories may be few and far between, but it's just a different type of major. Not every golf tournament has to be the Players' Championship. It doesn't have to be the strongest field in golf. The Open Championship has open qualifying. The PGA Championship has 20 United States Club Pros.
Right.
Event. I mean,
used to have 40.
The Masters has 90 players maximum. Like there's nothing about any of the major championships that are the same, and I think that's what makes them great. You talked about Pinehurst as not a traditional venue. I couldn't agree more. However, they're moving away from that, tree line, heavy rough
right.
Type of venue, right? Like in 06, I played at Wingfoot. In 2015, I played at Chambers Bay. You couldn't find two polar opposite golf courses, right? So they have gone that route, but they do return to Oakmont. They played at Marion. Once in a while they indulge the public course crowd with Torrey Pines. So there's all, it's the United States Open. It should go all over the country, and it should have a variety of golf courses. And I think the field kind of reflects the golf courses that they're looking for. It can be different, and there's nothing wrong with different.
If I'm not mistaken, Brad Fritch, you either had a share of the lead or you were in the top 2 or 3 in the opening round of that Chambers Bay won by Jordan Spieth when Dustin Johnson decided he forgot how to putt.
I don't remember if I was or not. I don't know if I was, Adam. I remember
you were.
I was on the 18th hole at Wingfoot, which was my 9th hole of Thursday's round, and I saw my name on the leaderboard and proceeded to have a stroke. And because I hadn't played any. It was my second PGA Tour event ever, but I was a mini tour player.
Right.
So I was happy and lucky to be there. But I saw my name on the big leaderboard on the 18th green, had a stroke, made double bogey, and got back to normal. But it is a wonderful championship. They make it big. They make everyone feel welcome. I can't imagine the atmosphere in Pinehurst this week is going to be anything but major championship worthy, especially with the USGA headquarters now being in Pinehurst. It's such a great event. I can't wait to watch. It's funny, I was going to try to qualify. The locals were at Duke.
Right.
The sectionals were at Old Chatham. I hadn't touched a golf club from January to April. And
wow.
my qualifier came up, and I'm like, I'm not going. Like, I withdrew a couple weeks beforehand. Like, this is madness.
Oh.
What am I thinking? What am I thinking?
Oh, man. I wish I'd have known. I would caddy for you.
You could have taken my spot and probably done
No. No.
Maybe Jack could have.
Jack, he's beating me already, Brad. It's not going to be good. It's going to be an awful existence for me in my house. I'll tell you stories about that next time. Enjoy the tournament. I appreciate your time, my friend.
You bet. Have a great weekend.
It's Brad Fritsch here on the Adam Gold Show. I'm pretty sure he was right there at the top of the leaderboard. Maybe not first, top 2 or 3, front 9, Chambers Bay. That was also an interesting golf course. They have not really gone back. They've gone back for other USGA events, but not necessarily that one. A couple of notable tee times worth pointing out. Carter Jenkins played his golf at Carolina, I believe, and also is a Leesville Road High School graduate. Actually, told a little story that involved Carter Jenkins. It was about Grayson Murray, the late Grayson Murray, who, by the way, has a locker in the players' locker room at the Open at Pinehurst. But Jenkins is in the first group out. It's like 6:35 or something, the first group out off the first tee. So Akshay Bhatia will go off the first hole, I believe, at 1:58 on Thursday. Ben Coles, who I think is a local guy, he is also in the field. I think there are 6 Triangle area golfers in the field, including Webb Simpson, who, of course, grew up in Raleigh, although now lives in Charlotte. Webb Simpson will play. Who is he playing with? Justin Rose and Gary Woodland. He'll go off the 10th at 8 o'clock, or 8:02 on Thursday. But Tiger Woods will play at 7:29 with Will Zalatoris and Matt Fitzpatrick. I mentioned the group earlier. Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and Xander Schauffele. 1:14 off the first. I'm a Rory guy. I want Rory McIlroy to win. It is unfair that they put Rory with those two ball-striking machines. I hope Rory makes the cut. I hope he does. I'm not anticipating. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We will place bets. We will find out who I have on my... Oh, I know that's tomorrow. The U.S. Open card will be tomorrow. What are we going to bet on?
I know there's not even basketball's tomorrow.
Oh, I got cricket.
Yeah.
Next.
There you go.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
The NBA Finals are here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win alongside the champions, because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with a winning $5 wager. That's $200 to use on same-game parlays, live betting, and so much more. There's no better place to bet on all the finals action than America's #1 sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS to get started. Take a shot at an extra $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and you want to make those games more interesting. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. It's a Beautiful Day in Pinehurst premieres Tuesday, June 11th on PBS NC.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting, because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
This is Adam Gold.
He takes the hat, like somebody who works there, was wearing a baseball cap, takes it off the kid's head and puts it on the hostess station. Just takes the hat off this guy and puts it down.
Excuse you?
Like, that's exactly what I went. Like, excuse me?
Right.
Well, what are you doing?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We thank Brad Fritsch for joining us. John Orand from Puck News. Used to be with Sports Business Journal. Has left to go to Puck. And we'll talk still about the same stuff we talked with him about when he was at Sports Business Journal, which is sports media. The NBA's leaving TNT after next year. Did you catch Charles Barkley in the intermission?
Yes.
First of all, apparently he was also on Sportsnet during their coverage of the Stanley Cup Finals, and he worked blue, apparently, on Canadian television.
Oh, I see.
Right, he worked. He apologized, like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But he cursed. I'm pretty sure it was on Sportsnet.
Right.
But it was great. First of all, Steve Levy made no bones. Are we negotiating? Are we? Here's what I would do with Charles Barkley. I'm totally serious. If I were ESPN, I would hire him and use him on NHL coverage.
He's so fun.
He loves the sport.
He does.
Loves the sport.
Yeah.
It's a great sport. I mean, look, all sports are great, but it's really cool to see Barkley get really into the National Hockey League.
He was around last year, wasn't he, for the playoffs? Like they dabbled him in because
absolutely.
he loved it. I thought I remembered that.
And he's usually been, you'd see him like on the set of TNT because obvious, but he is a huge, huge hockey fan.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do if I were ESPN.
Yeah.
I would say, Charles, you'll do some NBA stuff, but we want you for hockey coverage.
I feel like they need him anyway to compete with TNT because
only one more year.
I know.
TNT's done.
Oh, it's so sad. They're so good. But yeah, they need that personality.
Yeah, and I think their NHL product, honestly, I think is better than ESPN's.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Liam McHugh or,
Paul Bissonnette or Aaron Carter.
I love Biz. Anson Carter, Anson Carter's good, right?
Yeah,
Biz is more fun.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And, again,
I know your wife loves Henrique, so there's that.
Lights are off, candles lit. Like, why are we watching this with red wine? What are we doing
yeah,
here?
What's going on?
Come on, am I not allowed in here
you're not
to
invited.
watch?
Go with Earl.
Yeah, exactly. Go out into your screened-in porch, do a podcast.
Take Harriet.
Leave me alone. I'm watching Henrik. Like, she doesn't even watch the games. Like, I just need the intermissions.
No, who's winning? I have no idea.
My God.
Me.
Yes, she's definitely winning. All right, let's stretch.
Okay, well, this server is not winning. It used to be in North Carolina, but she probably still lives in North Carolina, but the story came from North Carolina. A server decided to use the TikToks in an inappropriate way while she was at work. So she was a server at a, quote, upscale restaurant in North Carolina, and over Memorial Day weekend, she was working. A man came in. I know this is weird. He came in with a blow-up doll and had dinner with it. Like was on a date with a blow-up doll. So, which, I guess isn't, against the rules. It was just there sitting there.
Did this man order for the blow-up doll?
See, I would like to know that because as far as it got was that she felt the need to make a TikTok out of it and even said, quote, okay, I'm not supposed to be making TikToks at work, but this calls for it. So it, of course, went viral because that's what TikTok does. And later in an interview after she was fired, she said, I knew I was breaking the rules, but I guess she planned on quitting anyway, so they just did it for her.
Okay.
Now, the backstory about this guy, because he was also interviewed. Why do you have this blow-up doll at a dinner? Well,
right.
I love
that would
this.
be my question.
I love this. This is so funny. This is great. It was his punishment for losing in a fantasy football league.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know.
Now I get it.
Exactly. So it's not that he's just a weirdo. He could be a weirdo, but because he lost a bet. Oh, it's good. It's so good.
That is good.
It's just fantastic. So yeah, that happened. But I guess if you work at an upscale restaurant here in North Carolina, maybe don't do TikToks because there's somebody who lost a bet. That should be your first take. Now, also with North Carolina, I feel like this is a PSA that I need to tell people because I am people in this situation.
Sure.
Mosquitoes are back. And it's awful if you have whatever my blood type is or whatever it is that they just attract. Like, I am that person that if I'm in a group of people, everyone else is safe. I'm the one that's going to get eaten alive by these things. So there are actually some remedies to help prevent them. And then afterward, when they inevitably get you. So lemon eucalyptus oil apparently is a good repellent. Lavender, which I've heard this before, the fragrance repels mosquitoes. Thyme. Now this is interesting because I know a lot of people.
Morris Day and the?
Yeah,
or the herb.
Right. Clocks. Just throw some clocks out there. So thyme with a TH. Why?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. We're growing some in the backyard.
Actually will work. Well, this is good because if you make a bonfire, then apparently you throw some leaves in a campfire and it will offer up to 85% protection for about an hour to 90 minutes.
Thyme leaves?
Yes!
Really? Very nice.
I had no idea.
Very good.
Or you can put it in a spray, mix 5 drops of it in with water and spray yourself.
Perfect.
Citronella, that's kind of everybody knows about that one. So this does say to be careful before you start lathering yourself up with things just in case you have an allergic reaction. We don't want anybody going to the ER. Now, if you're like me and you're already ruined and mosquitoes have bitten you, the remedies that you can have, you can use hydrocortisone cream and natural ingredients. I have never done this. Apple cider vinegar, you can put that on a bite, or a raw onion, and freshly cut garlic. So we're like deterring mosquitoes, but we're attracting bears? I don't know. Like we're going to smell better. You want to smell like raw onions? I just can't. I don't know.
I just think it'd be, you're more likely to get bitten by a mosquito than a bear. So
yes, depending on where you live. But
yeah, I'm just going with that.
Or if you're me, then you're just watch out. It's mosquitoes. I hate the mosquito season. But what I don't hate is making good bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
Got all of my hockey bets wrong.
Oh.
Yesterday, all of them.
Oh no.
And believe the Pakistan beat Canada today in the cricket.
Oh.
So it was over yesterday. I will be better, promise.
Okay. Well, I'm doing all baseball because 'tis the season.
Okay.
So, and this is pro baseball. Give me the Cubs and the Rays. I have to go with my Cubs. They also have a pitcher that is somewhat reliable, I guess, but the Rays are good too. I'm just going to pick the Cubs. They're underdogs plus 120, so just straight up.
All right, very cool. We're going to start in the World Cup of Cricket tomorrow morning at 10:30. The match, USA, India, for Group A supremacy. Give me the U.S. at plus 920. USA cricket to beat India plus 920. Number one ranked nation on earth.
Not
India.
the Bugs, even though we were just talking about Bugs.
Exactly. USA plus 920.
Nice.
Great value. Great value.
Nice. Well, next one, the Braves taking on the Orioles. Let's see. I think it's going to be the Braves tonight. I just feel good about them. Braves are doing awesome. I think it's going to be tough, so I'm going with the under. It's under 7.5. So those two together is plus 238.
By the way, it's a great day of cricket because also you've got the West Indies and New Zealand. That is a very big-time matchup, and I think Group C of that. But, USA India tomorrow. But I'll be busy. We'll be down at Pinehurst. All right, an international friendly tomorrow. The United States and Brazil are tuning up for Copa America. I think Brazil's got their eye off the ball. USA-Brazil draw plus 360.
Okay. And my last one, let's go. Toronto Blue Jays and Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers have been a little feisty. Sometimes they come out of nowhere and will beat teams when you least expect it. Also, they have Rodriguez as the pitcher today, which I feel like he's done fairly well for them. So give me them. It's plus 100, but I'm going to take the under because it's at 8.5. So that's 235.
First of all, congratulations to the U.S. women. They won the soccer tournament. Heather O'Reilly's outfit won the $1 million. They beat the NC Courage. Sorry to Jessica McDonald.
Right.
Who came on the show yesterday.
We'll have to get Heather back in here because she'll be even more jacked.
And but we're going to have to, I don't know. She's got $1 million.
I know.
Part of $1 million now. She doesn't need us. And La Bombonera, who my son identified on day one as they are awesome. And they won. They beat Nani FC for the title. So with that, I will give you the European Championship starts Saturday. France plus 390. England is the favorite at plus 320. France plus 390. They would be an easy bet. I think they're going to. Their roster is just ridiculous. Their squad, I don't know how they lose. Portugal plus 700. They're loaded. Portugal plus 700. Have some fun. We'll do Copa next week.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bo Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bo Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's Bo time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bo Sauce. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bo Sauce is back. That's right, Bo Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bo Sauce? Then it's Bo time.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Everyone's trying to become more streamlined these days, so why not you? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and this is your chance to become more efficient. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of them. Plus, Travers LASIK is offering $1,000 off right now and 0% financing for qualified customers. Go to TraversLASIK.com. The consultation is free. 919-510-6830 for Travers LASIK.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback! Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
When it comes to forming the women's Olympic team, it's a 3-year process. They started having training camps back in February of 22. They had a training camp in April of 22, then the World Cup in the fall of 22. So all of these women that are reported to have made the roster have played with one another. All of them have had opportunities now over the course of the last couple of years to learn Cheryl Reeve's system, to learn one another, to learn some of the opponents that they're going to face in the international game.
Rebecca Lobo on the Caitlin Clark situation, which continues to drive clicks and page views and conversation. We haven't talked about it today. I'm still getting comments. I got one comment from somebody who thought that I was roasted by Christine Brennan yesterday, which is fine. It doesn't bother me that somebody would say that. Christine had I believe, a very nuanced point. And because it was not directed at taking the 12 best players or the 12 best players based on position, which is really the 6 best guards and the 6 best forwards. So she's not competing with Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart, right? She's competing with the other guards. She was talking about interest and growing the game. Now, you can't just put somebody on the team that doesn't deserve it. So she made a statistical argument that there is merit to putting her on the team, with which I agree. As I said at the beginning of the conversation, my thought about Caitlin Clark was that I'm not moved because I don't believe she was so obviously better than players who were on the team. Does she have a statistical advantage over a player or two? Yeah, but that isn't the measure of whether or not a player is obviously better or not. She's not at this point better, clearly better than Diana Taurasi, who does happen to be 42. She's not better at this point than Sabrina Ionescu, who, by the way, was on the World Championship team that won gold medal in 22. Taurasi has been on every Olympic gold medalist, I think, since the beginning of time. The one spot, so my point was that I'm not moved. There's not a snub here. She was not disrespected by not being placed on the team. She's obviously close. And she might be better than one or two of the women who've made it, but there's nothing that says that she's an aggrieved party here. Christine's point was that you can't complain about a lack of coverage if you deny a spot on the team to somebody who would guarantee you coverage. I understand that point. To that end, she's 100% right. But my point is, and I think they're two different points, I don't believe she was snubbed. I don't believe that USA Basketball did itself a disservice by leaving her off the team. And she would have been the last player on it, more than likely, and she still may be. Because Chelsea Gray has yet to play a game in the WNBA this year. She has a leg injury, and if she doesn't play, in the next couple of weeks, USA might have no choice but to say, Chelsea, you're not healthy. We're going to replace you. I don't know. So I still think there's a chance that we could see Caitlin Clark there, but Caitlin Clark is not raising a stink about this.
No, she's been very classy about it the whole time.
Christine Brennan also did have a very good point about the coach of Team USA, in that she may have been predisposed to be anti-Caitlin Clark from the beginning, and I would not be a fan of that if I were USA Basketball. What's her, is it Christy Reeves? I think there's the name of her. She's the Minnesota Lynx coach. Because if you are predisposed to have already decided that she's not all that, because that's the way it comes off, some of her comments about Caitlin Clark, then you're probably a bad choice for USA Basketball. Yeah. Not every choice is good. I got news for you. Larry Brown was not a good choice for USA Basketball was it 2002? I think it was 2002. He was not a good choice for USA Basketball. That team did not care to play for him. Great coach, not the best situation for Larry Brown.
Yeah.
Sometimes the choices you make backfire.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
but they're going to win gold.
Yeah.
Because they have, 12 of the best, probably 15 players on planet Earth.
True.
So they're going.
And if anybody
to win
missed
gold.
Christine's interview, it's on the 99.9 The Fan YouTube page.
Oh my gosh.
And the Adam Gold Best Of page podcast.
Wonder how many people. Because it was not short.
No.
It was good.
Yeah,
but it was not short.
It's probably like maybe 16 minutes long.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
So it's not bad.
It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was.
No.
All right, good. All right, let's do a quick wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
You know what was really good yesterday? NC State getting to the College World Series for the third time under Elliott Avent. And he just loves it. By the way, they beat Georgia 8-5 in Athens in the rubber game of their best of three. They won the first game 18-1, lost the second game, I think it was 11-2, and then came back and won. They were down 2-0 early, came back and won 8-5, and Elliott Avent loves everything about his group.
They've been so unbelievable the last 10 weeks of the season. Ever since we went to Clemson, they've been as good a team as you can be. They do things the right way. They play hard. They run hard all the time. And they do things the way they're supposed to do it on and off the field. I haven't had a curfew here, and I don't think JT said like twice. And he played for me. He said he had one in his 4 years here. But I haven't had a curfew in like 10 years. You recruit men, you trust them, they trust you back, and you try to build something. And if you got the right people, then silly stuff like that doesn't even need to come in place. So just really proud of this team.
Also, Elliott Avent pointed out that they never, they always replace the toilet paper roll, right?
See, that says a lot.
They
probably put their carts back too, shopping carts.
I don't know. He didn't mention that.
That goes to Sue.
He didn't mention that.
They probably do.
Never has to tell them to brush their teeth before they go to bed. All of that. Right. These are grown men. All right, to the NBA Finals, which we have a night off of again. They will resume tomorrow. We also have an extra day off in the Stanley Cup Finals, as Edmonton and Florida don't resume until Thursday. But Game 3 of the NBA Finals is tomorrow. Kendrick Perkins of ESPN would like you to know that the Dallas Mavericks are not done.
They're going back home. The role players will play better, although I thought they played a pretty decent game. Kyrie Irving needs to, somebody need to tell Kyrie that the finals started on June the 6th. I don't know if he got the reminder. But they will play better. I mean, J. Kidd, he got to, right now, Joe Mazzulla is out coaching J. Kidd. J. Kidd got to go into his bag a little bit. I think Tim Hardaway Jr., the Kid Hardy, they need more minutes off the bench to provide some scoring. But look, Dallas crowd is underrated. It's going to be loud in that arena. Derek Lively is going to play better. I see Dallas getting the next two games at home.
Well, that would be amazing. Even more reason to maybe go Dallas plus 640 to win the NBA Finals. If they even the series, I mean, I liked Dallas before the series. If Dallas can get even, I give them a great chance to win it. But getting Kyrie Irving going against the defense of Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown is just not going to be easy. But Kendrick Perkins mentioned something that I said yesterday, is that Dallas needs another source of offense, and not just shooting, playmaking. And they don't really have that, so it's going to have to come maybe from a Tim Hardaway Jr., who has been a pretty good scorer in the NBA. So they're going to have to find some other way other than just Luka and just Kyrie. Kyrie has not played well, but they need another option, and it can't just be a spot-up, shooter like P.J. Washington or somebody like that. They're going to have to figure out a way, and they're going to have to. I mean, look, Boston's 2-0 up, and they haven't in any way, shape, or form gotten the best of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, the two best players. They're doing it with a total team effort. It's been impressive to watch. And again, we said this yesterday. It's possible that Boston is just that much better. They have certainly kind of produced two dynamite outcomes even without playing their best. All right, when we come back, John Oran from Puck News on, among other things, the NBA TV deal leaving TNT, and what is the ultimate impact of Caitlin Clark? Television ratings have been through the roof for the WNBA. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Golf's third major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the U.S. Open from Pinehurst. Find out if Wyndham Clark can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the championship trophy. Coverage of the U.S. Open on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is the retirement planning specialist. So if you are thinking about retirement, you need to call Coach Pete, 888-843-0013. That's 888-843-0013. If you don't want to talk to a human being, just text my name, Adam, to 600-700. Same difference. We're going to get you in front of Coach Pete so he can help you plan for your retirement because you can't do it for yourself. You need an expert to make sure you have everything you need. You wouldn't perform appendix surgery on yourself, would you? Let Coach Pete help you plan for your retirement. So if you want to go cliff diving in Acapulco, I don't know why you'd want to do that, 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700. Call 888-843-0013 and get free stuff, a total customized retirement plan for you for free. But call today.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month. Rebates up to $8,000 plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3. Only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is is Adam Gold.
That answer fails on so many levels. Part of me wants to start the answer again and then stop it after each time. Is that a good idea, Victoria?
No.
That's great. Did you do that on purpose?
I did.
You did? All right. At the end, that was brilliant.
The Adam Gold Show.
Music we are likely to hear again. I hope. Certainly our own John Tesh, who is the composer of the NBA on NBC Music, would love to see that return when NBC gets back into the NBA. And for that conversation, our friend who has a new address, John Orand, is now with Puck News, sports correspondent. Sign up for the newsletter. The varsity is great. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. How are you, sir?
Round ball rock. I love hearing that. What an intro, Adam.
Well, I've been hoping to talk to you about this for a long time. I have never been a regular season, devotee watcher of the NBA. There's too many things going on. I follow the league, but I pick up on the playoffs where I watch a lot of it. That TNT crew of Ernie Johnson, Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, those guys are so good. We've got one more year left. What happens? What happens to them?
Well, let me just say that Turner, Warner Brothers Discovery, they're not officially out of it yet. So they still have matching rights to their contract. They could possibly match one of the bids that are out there, and there still is the possibility that the NBA creates a fourth package with a couple of games that would enable that group to stick together for a couple more years after this. But it's looking pretty unlikely. And thinking along the lines that Warner Brothers Discovery is not going to be around, and that after next year you won't be watching the NBA on TNT anymore, the show's going to go away. I think that there's going to be a bidding war for Charles Barkley, where Amazon and ESPN and NBC are going to be falling over themselves trying to get Charles Barkley and trying to get Shaquille O'Neal to come over to their pregame or studio shows. Ernie Johnson has said that he wants to stay, that he's going to stay with Turner. He's also getting older, and there's a possibility that he might retire.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny Smith is sort of he's a glue guy, but he's not as big of a star as Barkley or O'Neal. So there's less of a bidding war out for him. But the idea that one of these networks is going to take that show in total and move it over is certainly not going to happen.
Yeah, also, Kenny, I think he lives in Atlanta. I don't think he wants to leave Atlanta. But Charles could. I was watching the hockey game last night. I mean, Steve Levy was unabashedly trying to bring Barkley over to ESPN. My argument would be to the folks in Bristol, forget about basketball. Add Charles to your hockey coverage, because the hockey coverage, it's not awesome. They could have so much more fun with Barkley there.
Well, Adam, the thing about Inside the NBA, and one of the reasons that you're such a fan of it, I think, is that it's not an NBA pregame show, or it's not an NBA halftime show. It straddles the line between NBA and entertainment, and they just have fun, and they do things a lot differently than ESPN has ever done anything. Because ESPN, when they do pregame shows, they cater to hardcore fans.
Yeah.
So they get into the nuts and bolts of why a play is going a certain way, which is something you almost never see on Inside the NBA, because they're more likely to race Kenny Smith to the jumbotron or whatever. It's a comedy entertainment show as much as it is a basketball show.
Yeah, and the production value that has I think bled over to their coverage of the NHL as well, which seems much more lighthearted and fun. And whether it's Paul Bissonnette or, again, I keep saying this because it's a joke at this point, but my wife loves Henrik Lundqvist for obvious reasons. But I think Liam McHugh also does a great job. And they have just a good vibe about them. I like their coverage of the NHL. Charles can just go there. Charles can just stay with TNT and just cover the NBA.
There's a reason that they do that, because like if you're sticking around, if you're watching TNT and you happen upon the NBA, you're coming from an entertainment program. You're coming from like a half-hour sitcom, and you're going into a movie. If you're going to the pregame show from ESPN, you're a sports fan. You're watching sports, and you're getting into it. So the TNT just feels like it needs to make its NBA and NHL pregame shows a lot more entertainment driven than the other networks.
And I think they are. By the way, John Orand at Orand_Puck is the new Twitter handle now with Puck News. Real quick, because I'm not up on the ins and outs of what this NBA package is going to look like. There was some talk that they were going to create a separate television package for games that are under the in-season tournament umbrella. Have they done that?
They have not done that, but right now, if everything goes according to plan, Amazon Prime is going to have all of the in-season tournament games.
Okay.
Because as you said at the outset, nobody's really watching the NBA. When you see the prices that the NBA packages are getting, it's all for the playoffs, because the playoff games are all bringing in millions and millions of viewers, and so it's much less for the regular season. So what the NBA tried to do is, what can they do to make the NBA more valuable and bring more viewers into it? And so that was one of the reasons that they launched the in-season tournament last year.
I like the in-season tournament. I think it adds some spice to games in, like October, November, early December that otherwise would not be there. Let me get to the WNBA, which obviously is seeing mind-blowing record numbers since Caitlin Clark has joined the league. I do not want to disparage the other women who are also part of this increased interest, because ratings seem to be up across the board. Obviously, it's different when it's Caitlin Clark, but the ratings have gone up everywhere, and maybe it's the rising tide raises all boats. What do you make of that, and how can they capitalize?
Yeah, Caitlin Clark is unique, and when she was in college, the games that Caitlin Clark played in set viewership records across so many different networks, and that's happening now that she's in the WNBA, of course. But the WNBA has been on a growth trajectory ever since the pandemic. They came out of the pandemic. They got about $75 million of investments going in there, and they started to invest into marketing and invest into the starting a free agent system. And so it's been slowly, you've been slowly seeing these ratings gains. Having Caitlin Clark, and not just Caitlin Clark, but also Angel Reese and some other players come in, has really taken it to a different level. So the leap that they've taken this year is much further along than they've probably. I was talking to Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, last week, and she said they're about 2 years before where they should be, and that's because of Caitlin Clark, and that's because of this rookie class that people were watching in college last year. It's one of the things about college, women's college basketball. People were able to see Caitlin Clark for 4 years play at Iowa. They're able to see Angel Reese played until she was a junior or senior down at LSU. On the men's side, you're not seeing that as much, and I think that's one of the reasons that you're seeing people. When Caitlin Clark is coming into the NBA, people know who these players are.
Since you pay attention to this, and John Oran from Puck News is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, what do you think is the negative impact? I want to get into the coverage of this in a second, but what do you think the negative impact is of Caitlin Clark not being included on the U.S. Women's Olympic team?
I don't think that there's a negative impact for the WNBA at all. I think if you're the WNBA, even the controversy like this has people talking about the sport, and the sport is becoming part of the mainstream.
Yeah,
I was over at a friend's house, and he was talking about how unfair it was that Caitlin Clark was left off the USA basketball team. I mean, I don't think he had ever talked about women's basketball before that point.
Right.
And so if you're that WNBA and you're trying to grow the league, you probably would have rather had her on the team and build that way, but having her off the team and seeing the amount of conversation going on around that can only benefit the league and have people more inclined to dip in and watch some of the games.
It's funny. I've used this term before. If you tune in to watch Caitlin Clark and you happen to see Asia Wilson, you'll go, holy cow, why did they even allow Asia Wilson to play with everybody else? She's a cheat code. She's a 6'5". She can do – it's almost like it's in some ways she's like Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and that's what the WNBA is banking on. The people are going to come in, watch these games, and realize that the athleticism is a lot better than they were expecting it to be.
John Orand is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, I am curious. I'm not sure that you're a huge soccer fan, but it is a summer of soccer. What do you think the impact will be on Copa America and the Euros in the United States? And they are competing. They are going on at essentially the same time. And doesn't Fox have all of it?
Yeah, everything is on Fox, and the Copa America. Of course, you have the hometown team. So I think that more people are going to be invested in that. But the most popular soccer league right now in America is the Premier League.
Yep.
And so when you talk about what's going to win, who knows? Because that's the stars that people really know come from that league and come from some of the European leagues. So it's going to be fun for the non. Of course, when the U.S. plays, the U.S. are going to score ratings victories. I don't have a prediction for when the U.S. doesn't play or when Mexico doesn't play. Mexico also plays, but it's sort of like a home team here in the States. But other than those two, it's a toss-up in my opinion.
And we're going to see Messi. Messi's going to play for Argentina in Copa America. The betting odds are, Argentina's a pretty big favorite to win. My son says Brazil's overrated, but they're the second choice. Just throwing that out there. But, yeah, I think I actually like the Euros more than I like the World Cup. But it's tremendous if you are a fan of the beautiful game. It is a great summer of soccer. So
I'll tell you what was distressing, though, is watching the U.S. men play over the weekend where Colombia beat them. It should have been 10-0 from the way that the men played. It was pretty depressing.
It was very, very upsetting. It might have made me think about Colombia as a long shot to win. Colombia is very good. The United States was very poor in that match. They're going to have to be a whole lot better. I personally think they have to make the semifinals for it to be a good Copa America. Just qualifying for the knockout round isn't going to be enough. John Orand from Puck News at Orand_Puck. Thank you so much. Get the newsletter, people. John knows what he's talking about.
Adam, you got to be kidding me. You have me on. You don't ask about the Orioles.
I was going to close with, man, your Orioles are great, but we got to catch the Yankees. We can't let the Yankees win that division.
The Yankees thought they were running away with it. Guess who's right on their heels? The Orioles are going to be good for decades. It's going to be fun.
All right, now we just got to convince the owner to pay the players.
I think it's no longer the Angelos family. So
okay, good.
I have the utmost confidence that's going to happen.
You guys are an awesome, awesome team, and I tell people all the time, I grew up going to Mets games at Shea, but, man, Camden Yards is as good a place as you are ever going to be to watch a ball game, especially when the Orioles are great.
It's fun. It's a fun season for certain.
Good luck. I'll talk to you soon, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Adam.
You got it. John Orand, sports, Puck News. It's old habits. We have two guests today that have changed affiliations. I'm going to have to change the way I identify them. I appreciate John holding me to account. Should mention the Orioles, who are dynamite. I'd like to see them with a nice long playoff run. And, yeah, I'm a Mets fan. I don't want to see the Yankees win that division. What do you make of it?
No, I think everybody except Yankees fans don't want to see the Yankees make it.
The Yankees and the Cowboys.
Right. Very similar.
Duke basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They all fall into that same category.
Yeah.
You either love them. There's no casuals.
No.
You either love them or you hate them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
There's
fine.
no gray.
Yeah. Whether you love them or not. It's a fine line between love and hate. All right, we're going to rewind. When we come back, we'll give you some U.S. Open tee times that you'll need to know about, especially if you are going down there on Thursday. We are going down tomorrow, but we'll rewind next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we want you to swing for the fences this Major League Baseball season with FanDuel, because with Dinger Tuesdays, you can turn dingers into dollars all season long. Bet on your favorite player to rip a moonshot. FanDuel will give you $5 in bonus bets for every homer during that game. That's right, home runs just got even better. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS to get in on all the Dinger Tuesday action. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. It's a Beautiful Day in Pinehurst premieres Tuesday, June 11th on PBS NC.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting, because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
He takes the hat. It was like somebody who works there, where was wearing a baseball cap, takes it off the kid's head and puts it on the hostess station. Just takes the hat off this guy and puts it down.
Excuse you?
Like, that's exactly what I went. Like, excuse me?
Right.
What are you doing?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Before we rewind and get into some other things here, congratulations to our friend John Forsland and the entire crew that do hockey games for the Seattle Kraken. That's J.T. Brown, Eddie Olczyk, Allison Lucan, who you can also hear. We have Sarah Sivian on our show relatively often. Allison does a podcast, Too Much Men, or Too Many Men, whatever the Twitter feed.
It's too many.
The Twitter feed is _much_man.
See, they love
right?
underscores
too.
too.
Absolutely. But she's part of that podcast as well. Anyway, they were voted the number 2 local broadcast crew. The Athletic does this every year. Number 2, Detroit is number 1. Seattle was actually number 1 last year. Then they added Eddie Olczyk. Shouldn't have done that. Just kidding. Not really. Just kidding. But number 2 in terms of national broadcast. I bring this up without any hesitation because in the year that John Forsland, I'm not going to say left, was pushed out by the Hurricanes. Just kind of a fact. But the first year that the rankings came out after John Forsland, the Hurricanes local broadcast basically went, if not to the bottom, near the bottom. And that was unfair. Very unfair. Partly, we are this is no disrespect to anyone. John, my opinion, but also in the opinion of many others, is the best in the business. And it was always going to be unfair to Mike Maniscalco. Tripp still does a great job, but the Hurricanes broadcast has risen to number 18 overall.
Nice.
Yeah, and getting better. Mike's obviously much better. Again, judging in comparison is unfair. The broadcast is excellent. Tripp is a national treasure.
And his one-liners.
It's tremendous.
Oh, it's so good.
His Rolodex is also next level. Nobody knows more people than Tripp Tracy. Nobody. So, congratulations to them as well. By the way, the worst broadcast in local of the local broadcasts.
Oh yeah,
Boston.
Ah, oh man,
no question about it.
It's a lot of joy that comes from that.
Absolutely. Honestly, though, Jack Edwards, as part of that broadcast, is done. He is retiring. But yes, that broadcast is terrible.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see Columbus near the bottom of the list. Jeff Rimmer is a legend.
Yeah.
And their broadcast, I think, was rated 30th. But Detroit 1, Seattle 2, Hurricanes up to 18. So congratulations to them as they continue to get better. Now let's rewind. All right, I'm going to weave in some things that we talked about a little bit, but maybe need to get into a little bit more. We'll talk about the U.S. Open. And again, we're going to be there tomorrow on site at Pinehurst. We'll have Payne Stewart's caddy when Payne Stewart won in 1999. Mike Hicks is going to sit in with us for a time in the third hour of the program. And for many, Payne Stewart, it wasn't his first major. It was his last major. He won 3. He won his first major in 1989, winning the PGA Championship. He won his next major in 1991 at the U.S. Open. And then he took a little bit of a dip in form, as they say, and then was this close to winning again and again and again. In 1998 at Olympic Club, he finished second to Lee Janzen. And then the following year in 99, he was getting into his competitive stride. He was, he could have won 4-5 more majors. He was really figuring it out. Super talented, won the Open with a 25-foot putt on the last hole. And then, of course, sadly passed away in the plane crash. What? 3 months later, we lost him. But there's a statue to Payne Stewart behind the 18th green at Pinehurst number 2, and of course he invented the cutoff rain jacket. Somebody had to.
I'm glad he did.
It happened at that week. It happened that week at the U.S. Open.
That's where it all started.
Anyway, we'll talk to Mike Hicks tomorrow. We got some other things planned as well down at Pinehurst. All right, Jason Sobel, brand ambassador, BetMGM. So Scottie Scheffler is obviously the choice for many, many, many reasons. If you had to pick one player to win and everything depended on it, Scottie would be the choice. Who would be the most likely player not named Scottie Scheffler?
I really like it. I see some parallels. Sometimes we do all our research, Adam, and we're studying up all the stats. We're looking at everything, and we have to dive deep into all the numbers to figure out who we like. Other times, it's right in front of us and bangs us over the head with it. Just a few months ago, at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Scottie and Wyndham Clark finished 1-2. The very next week at the Players' Championship, they finished 1-2 again. Would not be surprised to see a very similar scenario this week with Scottie and Colin Morikawa. He's playing some great golf. My colleague Will Haskett interviewed him after the round on Sunday at Muirfield Village, said, I've never seen anyone as upbeat and optimistic after losing as Colin Morikawa was. So he's very pleased with the way his game is trending right now.
Yeah. If you look at the stats, this is the way I look at Pinehurst number 2. We talked to Brad Fisher about this as well. It is a second shot golf course. That's not to say that off the tee is not important. You can get yourself in some trouble off the tee at Pinehurst, but mostly the fairways are wide. If it's dry, then it's going to be harder to hit fairways because the ball is going to race. And there's going to be they call it your lines, your angle of attack off the tee is going to change based on what the ball is going to do when it hits the ground. So you're going to have to shape a lot of tee shots. But ultimately, even if you miss fairways, you're going to get a lot more good lies than bad because the native areas, the natural areas, are not rough. There are tufts of native grasses, but the majority of it is hard packed sand, and these guys eat that alive. So as long as they're not in one of those, long gnarly patches of grass, they're going to have no problem playing out of it. It is a second shot golf course. Nobody hits balls closer to the hole or hole high, pin high than Scottie Scheffler. Nobody. Colin Morikawa is probably second best at that. Xander Schauffele is also really good at that. If you were looking at, if you were a wagerer, golf is a fun sport to wager on. If you were looking for players off the top few, go to your, PGA Tour app, if you will, or just do a Google search on strokes gained approach. And this will tell you who the best players are on their approach shots to greens. And you will see some names in there that jump off the page because you see them a lot. Like, man, I'm seeing Corey Connors a lot. Man, I'm seeing Daniel Berger a lot. He has had a bad year, but boy, does he hit it. He's a very, very accurate iron player. And also Tom Hoagie, who was born in Statesville, North Carolina. If you are looking for North Carolina ties, he was born in Statesville. He plays out of Fargo, North Dakota. Not a lot of professional golfers call Fargo, North Dakota home base, but he does. All right, I'm a Rory McIlroy fan. Why did the USGA hate Rory McIlroy so much so as to pair him with the two guys who are likely going to beat his brains in this week, Scotty Scheffler, and Xander Schauffele. I asked Jason if they were just trying to rub it in.
Same group that we saw at Augusta National a couple of months ago for the first 2 days, and they're going to run it back. Look, they got 1, 2, 3 in the world. That's been done in the past, so I like it. It's obviously a featured group this week. As far as Xander, I mentioned that Scotty, look, this is a great course for him. I had him targeted here even before he started winning. Xander Schauffele, if you look at it, I know he won the PGA Championship, but you go back, the U.S. Open has been his best major championship. I believe 7 or 8 career starts, nothing worse than 14th place. So he's been right there every single time he's played one of these. I'm a big believer in once you play well at USGA championships, you tend to play well at them year after year for the most part. And so I think he's absolutely going to be a factor this week as well. I know I'm talking about all these guys near the top that I like. I have to give you somebody that I don't like, and I'll pick out Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
I think that there's a little something there that's not quite right now. He's not playing poor enough that we go, what's wrong with Rory? But he's not quite playing as well as he was at the Zurich and at Quail Hollow before the PGA Championship, where he won both of those events.
All right, we talked about this with Brad Frisch. I think Rory is just not playing free and easy. He's not playing with a... He could do with less care. I'll put it that way. Like, stop caring. Just let it rip. And who cares what happens? I'm not sure Rory can get to that. But he needs a little Fred Couples in his life. People who love Fred Couples will understand. Sometimes Freddie just stopped caring, and all of a sudden it came back. Maybe Rory should stop caring. Maybe that would help. All right, we'll continue the rewind here in a second with some college baseball. But I just wanted to inject this. It's a brand new. I put out another episode of the Canes Corner podcast last night. My friend Al Hood from Canes Country, staff writer, he jumped on and we talked about a number of things. We talked about the expected elevation, if you will, of Eric Tulsky from assistant to general manager. He has the interim title right now, but it is expected that he will become the actual GM whenever the team gets around to sending out the press release on it. But he's essentially acting as the GM anyway, and he has been for the most part over the last couple of years. The Hurricanes have a non-traditional management structure where basically everybody below Tom Dundon is kind of flat in terms of influence. And again, we pointed this out in the podcast. It's really why Don Waddell left for Columbus, is so he could be a general manager again. Remember, he was a GM when he was with Atlanta. And when I think his tenure with Atlanta might have ended before they went to Winnipeg, but he was a good GM. Remember, Atlanta was good for a while. So Don was looking for maybe a last crack at it. I don't know, but certainly a place where, as GM, director of hockey operations, where you did have more of a say. That's not the way this team is run. I think Eric Tulsky's always had the most prominent voice for Tom Dundon, but it is a Tom Dundon decision. So I'm not criticizing any of these moves. I'm just saying Tulsky was always going to get this job. It's not as attractive to other candidates outside. And so we talked about that on the podcast. We talked about two more things that I think are worth discussing. One is, what happens when you trade Martin Necas? What do you have to get? We discussed that extensively. I think that you need to get not a goalie of the present, but a goalie of the future. And I understand that many people believe that's Pyotr Kochetkov, and it may very well be. But to me, last year or this year in the playoffs, there was a lack of trust, it seemed, between Rod Brindamore and Pyotr Kochetkov. Is that, is he not ready? Possible, right? He's still young. Well, Nashville's got a young goalie named Yaroslav Askarov. Would give Carolina 2 swings at a goalie of the future. He was the first goalie taken in the draft that Carolina took Seth Jarvis in at the end of the 2020 bubble hockey season. So maybe that's where the Hurricanes go to for a trade. But there's a lot of discussion about a trade for Martin Necas. We talked about that. We talked about Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Maybe the Hurricanes need to find a new home for him. He's not better than Jack Drury. Jack Drury is a third center on a good team, which means that you're paying a fourth center at best $4.8 million. That ain't working. That is a recipe for roster disaster. If your fourth best or fifth best center, assuming that Yevgeny Kuznetsov stays around, if your fourth or fifth best center is making $4.8 million, that can't exist. Cannot exist. Hurricanes need to find a center to go in between Aho and Drury and allow Jordan Staal to be more of a checking center and just diminish his role a little bit, because this is what they need to do. The other thing is, we talked about the importance of signing Jalen Chatfield. Also Jordan Martinook, but just real quick about Jalen Chatfield. At some point, we're all going to realize that he's the best right shot defenseman on the team. Better than Brent Burns at this point. And Chatfield's going to have to play an elevated role. Whatever you're paying Jalen Chatfield, it won't be too much. Promise. He's that good. All right. Let's get back to the rewind real quick, because we talked college baseball with Aaron Fitt, who was roaming around Pinehurst number 2 like everybody else is. I'll be there tomorrow. This is like the ACC SEC challenge, right?
Yeah, how about that? First time in the history of this 18 format. We've had only 2 conferences represented, and it's 4-4, which I think is kind of fun. It's of course, we're hearing from people on Twitter and other parts of the country who are just totally demoralized about the whole thing. And, there's a lot of resentment out there toward, especially the SEC, but to a lesser degree as well, the ACC, from people in different parts of the country. And a lot of them are going to check out. But you know what? In college baseball, there are a lot more people who really care about the ACC and the SEC. And this is kind of the way the balance of power has shifted, and it's really reflected in this field.
Yes. 5 ACC teams hosted, 5 SEC teams hosted. We have 4 each at the College World Series. It really is. It is a festival of ACC and SEC baseball. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right, let me just close on this. 2 things about the NFL. 1, Christian McCaffrey on the cover of the Madden game. Which, if you're a Christian McCaffrey fan, you go, no,
I know.
I don't want that.
Why would you curse him that
Not
way?
everybody gets hurt who's on the cover of Madden.
Well, he isn't on the Carolina Panthers roster anymore, so he's got that working for him.
That is true. So that is, you could take that for what it's worth. And the other thing, what did you ask me earlier about the mandatory minicamp? What was the question you asked me?
Why
one-timers?
Why are they trying to make it like a year-round type thing?
No,
what would be something that you would look for? Maybe.
What was my answer? No injuries.
Nothing. Yeah, no injuries. Nothing to happen.
DJ Johnson was carted off the field today.
Of course.
Oh, I thought you were going to curse.
No.
Right. First of all, DJ Johnson did not have a great rookie year, right? Did not have a great year last year. So we're not going to be alarmist about it. But this is the thing that you don't want at your, practices 3 months before the season starts.
Yeah.
You don't want impactful injuries that will hurt you when we get to September. So hopefully DJ Johnson will be okay, right? By the way, Bryce Young and Deontay Johnson did hook up on a long touchdown pass. So there you go. That's all good.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't want injuries. So Dave Canales, send everybody home now, right? Just get them out. Like, I don't want to see you guys until July. Victoria, thank you very much. Talk to everybody from Pinehurst tomorrow. Bye.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball term.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever.